The Panthers have won 3 consecutive NFC South titles. Dan Quinn trying to win his first in this his second year as the Falcons head coach. And the 4th member of our broadcast team, a pleasure to be joined as always by your main man and mine, Peter Schrager.
Thank you, Tom. Julio Jones has missed the last 2 games with a toe injury. He's going to play today. It's worth noting he only went full at practice 1 time this week, and that was Wednesday. We're playing on natural grass here, and he did a workout before the game and looked good. Luke Kuechly is out. He's got the concussion. Ron Rivera is saying, let's look long-term here. He's not going to play, but he'll be on the sideline. Hunt is a de facto coach for the linebacker, someone to watch who steps up in the middle for Carolina.
And a moment ago, the Panthers are happy to officially announce that Charles Johnson, who was banging the drum here a moment ago, keep pounding. He has missed the last 2 games, and they're welcoming him back after a hamstring injury.
And they get back a lot more than a guy who can pound a drum. All right, he can take care of an offensive line as well, not just in pass rush, but in the run game too.
Especially for defense, we're talking about a defense that's leading the league or tied for the league in sacks with 40. Charles Johnson bring fresh legs to the table.
The only Julius Peppers in the history of this franchise has more sacks than Johnson. Carolina won the toss, deferred to getting the ball in the second half. And that one through the back of the end zone, and here comes a man right in the very heart of the MVP race. And that's quarterback Matt Ryan. An NFL record 53 straight games of 200 or more passing yards, through for 286 in the rout of the Niners a week ago.
But I'm eager to see, guys, is how Atlanta does on 1st and 2nd down. Because, Chris, you just talked about it. 3rd down is the key for the Carolina Panthers. They get after the quarterback. But if you take 3rd down away from them, that hurts them as a defense.
Julio Jones at the bottom of your screen, matched up with the rookie James Bradberry. They go to him immediately on 1st down, and that'll be a gain of 5.
And the other thing to take a good look at is see what Carolina's going to do with Julio Jones early to see if that toe is okay. James Bradberry in press coverage, and Chris, you notice how Julio evaded him right away, never let him get his hands on it.
Good sign for Atlanta, and I love the play call and the vision of Matt Ryan to get him involved early since he's been out the past 2 weeks, to get him in flow and in rhythm.
With those kind of steps, the toe looks healthy.
First carry for Devontae Freeman. He has 1st down yardage and more, coming off that 139-yard performance and had 3 rushing touchdowns a week ago. Highest scoring team in the league, the Atlanta Falcons.
And so, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to talk about Alex Mack is a big reason why they can run the ball. And Devontae Freeman, what he's brought to the table, especially last week, and he made Worley number 26 miss. When you can make extra guys miss in space, you're taking a 3-yard gain and turning it into a 7-yard gain just by avoiding contact.
Freeman again, he's up to the 43-yard line. This Panther defense has not been the same defense as a year ago. In fact, they're dead last in the NFL in passing yardage per game allowed.
And remember, Julio Jones 300 yards the last time they played, so we spotlighted it. James Bradberry number 24, Daryl Worley number 26. Whoever's on Julio Jones early, test him early, see if the toe's going to hold up. That means a lot of press coverage to see if Julio Jones can run, and if he can, he's got a great opportunity today.
That one nearly stripped away from Ryan. And he dumps it off to Freeman, and he has what looks to be another 1st down up to the 49-yard line. That was dangerously close to a strip.
Well, first of all, you're going to have off the edge number 96, Wes Horton, who had a strip sack last week in recovery, but the strong hands and the composure of Matt Ryan. And the one thing he's done better this year than maybe at any time in his career, and this is not me talking, it's Carolina talking, seeing the field, understanding where outlets are, and delivering the football without panic.
First carry for Tevin Coleman, the 2nd-year runner out of Indiana. And he's across midfield. That'll be a gain of 2 on 1st down.
It looked like Charles Davis in Tennessee and Trey Boston, number 33, coming up there and being the 8-man in the box and laying the lick, Charles.
And Chris, that sound that we heard from this tackle is what you got to get ready for all day long in this ball game, because that's the type of game you're going to get. Who's going to come up, make the plays, and not allow the extra yards after contact? Trey Boston did everything right on that play for Carolina.
Boston, his first year as a starter. Couple of interceptions, couple of sacks, and a couple of big hits pretty much every game from the safety spot. Ryan throws, and it is another first down to Levine and Toilolo. They're without their starter, Austin Hooper, who was replacing the original starter in Jacob Tamme.
That's a beautiful thing if you're a Falcon fan about this offense and what they're able to do. They truly have that next man up mentality. And whoever's coming up, whether it's Aldrick Robinson last week or Toilolo this week, a guy has a chance to make a play. They make the plays.
You see the matchup. Number 1 in points per game, yards per game, passing yards per game. Third against the worst passing defense in the league. Play action, and they lay it off to Coleman. A dynamic player along with Freeman out of this backfield. That is without a doubt, from a running back standpoint, the best 1-2 punch in the league.
Yeah, watch Matt Ryan and watch his eyesight here, okay? Because as he goes pocket, frees it right there. See, he's looking downfield, he's looking here, but watch how he comes off of that when he doesn't have it and swings the ball out to Coleman. Take the check down and look at the yardage they gained. Turned into another first down.
Shaq Thompson got lost in space, which allowed Coleman to be open.
Play action, looking to the end zone. What an unbelievable catch by Joshua Perkins. And that is a touchdown. The Falcons have scored more touchdowns on the opening possession of a game than any team in the league.
Well, there's the size difference right here. And this is scouting report stuff. Thomas Davis is going to work on Perkins right there. Now, this is a matchup. First of all, Davis has pretty good help, and he's playing nice on the out and up, and he does have help late coming from the corner. But when you throw a guy open away from the corner who's lined up on the inside, you put it on the outside shoulder enough to get over the reach of Thomas Davis. That's strike, and you know what that is, Charles? That's a confident throw and a guy playing that I cannot be stopped in Matt Ryan.
Perkins just activated last week, got his first career catch. That is his first career touchdown. What a start for the Falcons, trying to nail down the NFC South in Charlotte today.
It's sponsored by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency.
What a start for the Falcons. Their opening possession, a touchdown, and that's 18 straight games with one of those by Matt Ryan, second only in the league to Andrew Luck.
You know, I want to go back to something Chris had mentioned during that drive, and that was next man up in terms of receivers. Guys are out, yet they're still making plays. That tells you that that's a quarterback who spends time in practice, working with all the guys who are going to come up and play. And not only that, trusts them and gives them opportunities to make plays for them. A lot of quarterbacks won't do that. They'll say, I don't know you well enough, and I'll just lean on some other guys.
Just to build on that real quick, during the defensive practice period of the Falcons, Matt has all the receivers working extra routes in plays when it's not supposed to be their time.
Fozzie Whitaker from the 2-yard line, out across the 20, little bit of running room, and run out of bounds by the Pro Bowl kicker, the punter, Bosher. 37-yard return, and here comes a reigning most valuable player in the NFL and grew up outside of Atlanta, went to Westlake High School, and coming off an outstanding game a week ago in the win over the Redskins, and he's been the money man in December and January.
And he had a game that he needed and they needed. The previous 4 games, less than 50% completion percentage. Against Washington, 300 yards throwing the ball, 2 touchdowns. He was a factor again, and I think today he'll run the ball a bit more too.
Looking down the field, and an excellent recovery by Deion Jones, a rookie middle linebacker out of LSU. Jonathan Stewart coming off a big-time game, his best of the year on Monday night.
And Greg Olsen has a chance to be the first tight end in NFL history. I know we were surprised about this stat. Become a 1,000-yard receiver 3 years in a row, playing with that big elbow brace.
I want to see how he adjusts to that. He had to practice with it this week.
Will give it to Stewart, and he is dropped behind the line of scrimmage by Courtney Upshaw. The numbers statistically are not great for Atlanta, although Dan Quinn will tell you he believes they're getting better.
And they are getting better because the number that counts right now going down the stretch, turnover margin. They're +8. They're taking the ball away from people. Vic Beasley, 14.5 sacks, 6 forced fumbles on the season. He's a factor on every snap.
Blitz coming. And down the middle of the field, and it looks like Benjamin is going to be about a yard short of a first down. Needed to get to the 49. I mean, do you think about going for it down in a foot?
You definitely do, and they're bringing big people off the bench in order to talk about it. Look at Cam stand in there and deliver. And what a nice catch by Benjamin. Watch 13 in black. Working across the middle. That pass is contested by number 32, Jalen Collins, who plays corner with safety size. Nice catch by Benjamin, and they brought out every big person that they have on the bench to show a heavy set. Let's see what they do with it, Chris.
Well, 6 and 8, it's no decision for me. Yeah, playing to win.
Look at that offensive line.
We give it to Stewart, and it looked like he got enough. He did right at the 50. Boy, you gotta love it. I know you're 6 and 8, but I mean, Ron Rivera, the riverboat gambler, they've been calling him here. Roll the dice.
Well, Norwell right here is going to pull around. This is old power road play and follow number 35, Tolbert. Also, the human bowling ball, breaking out Don Nottingham impersonations. And there's Norwell getting his hips and body turned in through the hole. He's getting space down the field. That means that Stewart will get that space.
Hold on a second. Did you say Don Nottingham?
Yeah, the human bowling ball.
Called the human bowling ball. Him and Norm Bulach back in the day. Heavy-legged guys. We just showed our age part. There you go.
So on first down, good protection for Cam, and a bad throw. It's intercepted by Brian Poole, the rookie out of Florida. What a find he's turned out to be. Was not drafted. And the only reason they knew about him, he played collegiately with Brian Cox. His son is a Gator. And a big pick here on Carolina's opening possession.
Sponsored by Bud Light. Make the right call. Drink responsibly.
Take a look at the numbers, MVP numbers a season ago for Cam Newton. 35 touchdowns, 10 picks. He has 10 picks again, but just 17 touchdowns and half the number of rushing yards.
And this Atlanta team is relentless. They have a head coach who likes to attack. Great position here if they want to take a shot early in this game.
Ryan scrambling, throws across the middle, and boy, when you're going good, you're going good. That's Julio Jones for a first down inside the 30.
Well, we talked about what they're going to do is play a lot of zone coverage, right? That means guys are playing off, and he is on the tight end, 84. Cam Newton is going to take Brian Poole right to the reception point. Why? He does not use his eyes to move people. Our eyes are a quarterback's weapon. You can move safeties, you can move linebackers. When you stare him down, guaranteed Poole got a great jump just off the quarterback's eyes.
You just read him the whole way, went right to the football as you described.
Outstanding play by Mario Addison. Healthy again. And let's check in for the first time today with our good friend in L.A., Carissa Thompson. Hi, Carissa.
Hi, Tom. We head to Chicago. Redskins currently in the 8th spot in the NFC race. And after that disappointing Monday night loss, Chris Thompson has his team back on track with that 7-yard run. They're up 7-0 over the Bears. Tom?
Yeah, the Redskins were held to 29 rushing yards in that game by Carolina on Monday night. Across the middle, that's Freeman out of the backfield, and he's dropped into 25. It'll bring up a third down and 7. A late flag comes in from the secondary well after the tackle.
A little bit of tempo going for the Falcons. You can see how game plans change week to week. They're going tempo right now, and when you go tempo, what you force a defense to do is you force them to make their call quickly, and usually it's a safe call, especially since Carolina's a zone football team. Matt's putting them in the defense that he wants, and he's exploiting that zone defense by dictating with
Personal
tempo.
foul. Unnecessary roughness, late hit. Offense number 82. 15-yard penalty. Down counts. Third down.
That's a big penalty by Joshua Perkins, who had the touchdown on the opening drive.
You see Dan Quinn, the head coach there. You talk about going up tempo, right, increasing the pace. That's what he likes as a head coach. He wants to attack on both sides of the ball and in special teams. He never pulls the offensive coordinator Kyle Shanahan back. Never says, hey, let's not go get them. So that's what we're seeing. Let's see what the penalty is, because what happens a lot is at the end of plays with the ball carrier, blockers are taught to clean people off of the ball carrier. But he was just too late getting there, was Perkins.
They're down at 21. They set up the receiver screen to Taylor Gabriel, who's become a huge weapon in this offense. And now a lengthy field goal try for the 41-year-old native of Bridge City, Texas. Just named to his first Pro Bowl this week, and this is his 15th year, Matt Bryant.
And you see what that penalty did, though, Tom. The penalty by Joshua Perkins brought Matt Bryant onto the field to give you a chance to talk about him going to his first Pro Bowl. He would rather be on the bench right now and them still running offense, but boy, is he a weapon.
4 of 6 from 50 and beyond so far this year. Good snap, good hold. Beauty by Bryant. So after the takeaway, the Newton interception, the Falcons add to now what is a 10-point lead.
Is sponsored by Dodge. Domestic, not domesticated.
10-0 ball game. Atlanta in front. Again, the Falcons win coupled with a Tampa Bay loss later this afternoon here on Fox, and the Falcons, for the first time since 2012, are divisional champions. Now, let's not forget, gentlemen, that the Panthers still have a chance.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Well, let's take a look. Panthers have to win out. Green Bay and Tampa Bay have to lose out. New Orleans has to beat Tampa Bay and then lose or tie to Atlanta. Minnesota has to beat Green Bay, then lose to the Bears. And the Redskins must lose one of their last two and tie the other.
Now, didn't they have a tie already this year?
They did.
Against Cincinnati and London, correct?
They did.
You know, Vince Lombardi's last one and only season as the head coach of Washington, 2 ties. Can they evoke the ghost of Vince Lombardi today and get that second tie for Carolina?
You are
That's awesome.
I don't even think Vince Lombardi remembered that. Here's Jonathan Stewart for a gain of close to 3 on first down. And once more, we send it back to Carissa Thompson in Los Angeles.
Thanks, Tom. Well, Green Bay has a little bit easier of a route to hopefully claim that NFC North crown, and this helps. Jordy Nelson, a 21-yard touchdown run from Aaron Rodgers. Packers up early, 7-0. Tom?
I just want to know, Carissa, who did the plane in Minnesota? I mean, no gate can't pull him out of the plane. Maybe Vince Lombardi sent word back. Don't let him in.
He did. And now Newton throws high with an eye on Ted Ginn Jr. Ted Ginn comes in with 47 receptions. His career high is 56.
The guy that's been explosive this year for the Cardinals and always a deep threat.
One question I've got for you, Chris. What I'm seeing early is really tight coverage from the secondary of Atlanta on these receivers. Carolina's got some jumbo-sized guys, right? Funchess, right? Funchess out wide, and Benjamin. They also have Ginn who can fly, but so far, Atlanta's been in good position to make a play on the football.
3rd down, Newton steps out of trouble, and he's going to run it. He is caught from behind by Vic Beasley Jr. and appears to be short of a first down, and I wouldn't think at the 35 they'll go for it on 4th down again.
Well, Vic Beasley, one thing you're going to get is tremendous effort, and he will never stop. And this is why Vic Beasley has all the sacks today. As you see the effort, just because he doesn't get the sack, he's able to chase down with his great speed to sack the big Cam Newton, keep him short of the first down.
And you know what else? Did you see Ricardo Allen, number 37, keeping discipline and eye discipline back towards Cam Newton, so that when he broke off and run, he was right there in position to help with the tackle.
Waiting back is Eric Weems, coming off his best game of the season from the 15 out across the 25, and he'll step out of bounds there. 2 possessions, 2 scores for the Falcons. A 10-0 lead. Well, the highly anticipated new FX Original Series Taboo From Ridley Scott and Tom Hardy is set in 1814. Stars Hardy as an adventurer who plays a dangerous game between Britain and America. Taboo premieres Tuesday, January the 10th only on FX.
I'm there. I don't know about you guys, but I am there because Tom Hardy, that's a bad man now. That was Bane.
Bane.
All right, if Bane's going to do a TV show, I'm watching.
Falcons a touchdown, and then after a turnover, a field goal, and on first down with penalty flags all over the field, that one jarred loose out of the hands of the intended target, Julio Jones.
It's an interesting counter right here by the Panthers. Kurt Coleman, number 20.
Holding. Defense number 24. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Comes on pressure off the outside, and you see number 24, James Bradbury. And you want to get physical with Julio Jones. You want to test him. Bradbury does get physical, but you see what happens? Julio's so strong, Charles, that he just gave him a stiff arm. And I don't blame Bradbury. He tried to tackle him before he got down the field, hoping to get away. But the counter by the Panthers was to slant everybody to the left on the defensive line, creating a clear path for Coleman as pressure as an extra blitzer off the edge.
Julio Jones, 27 years young, out of Foley, Alabama, and what a pick he has been out of Alabama in the first round in 2011. Tevin Coleman for a gain of 8 on first down.
As a young player, the one thing you don't want to do is give away what you're doing. Look at the eyes of Bradbury. I got on with Charles and Tom and said he's coming. Number 24 comes on the blitz. It's a great adjustment by Robinson to take him right where he's going without hitting him in the back, creating that open lane. But he gave away his blitz by your eyes. Eyes is such an important part of football, from quarterbacks to DBs to linebackers to running backs. They tell you what you're doing.
Second down, Ryan. Wide open down the middle of the field is Aldrick Robinson. The Falcons have set an NFL record this year. It's an extraordinary stat in a game overwhelmed by stats. The Falcons have 10 players that have 2 or more receiving touchdowns so far this year. Never been done in the history of the league.
The history of the league. I mean, when you have records like that, especially the positive ones, that resonates for me. Last year, they had 5 players who caught 2 or more touchdowns like that for the entire season. They doubled that output.
Pitch it to Freeman, good blocking in front. And that's a gain of 10, another first down. Patrick Pancake DeMarco leading the way.
You mentioned DeMarco,
Tom.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, that's you, Charles. You saw it first.
I mean, we all saw it at the same time. Look at DeMarco. Just taking down Wes Horton, number 96. Great call, Tom. Pancake DeMarco, whatever you want to call him, he's an absolute road grader as a guy in front. And for a team that likes to run the football, a Patrick DeMarco is necessary, a must, and he's terrific.
Well, he didn't get to Mario Addison. Not sure that was his man, but somebody along that line whipped.
That's Matthews. Now watch a quick movement inside. Again, what their counter is, taking their outside guys, moving them inside, and having Davis scrape over the top, but that's just beating him with speed. And Jake Matthews thought and anticipated that he was going to outside, so he took a lateral step outside, creating the inside lane, and Addison hit it with some authority and some angle.
Yeah, that was a big play there by Addison. That's one of those ones, you take the shot, you better be right, and he certainly was.
Coleman cuts it back to the inside. It'll bring up third down at 9. You know, Mario Addison has been an extraordinary find for these Panthers. He was cut by 4 different teams. Wound up here 3 years ago and over 14 sacks over the last 2 years, and already a career high this year.
And what he brings to them is speed off the edge, as Chris just showed you, with the ability to take that quick first step and make a play into the opposing backfield.
Watch a double A-gap look right there between the linebackers, trying to get Matt Ryan to hold it. Now, if they drop out, that means they'll bring pressure from the outside. If they drop out. There it is.
Able to get it away to DeMarco, and that's a nice tackle made by Shaq Thompson, denying DeMarco the first down.
The pressure came from top by Thomas Davis as the 5th extra player. Now, they bring these inside A-gaps They try to get the offensive line to squeeze down. By doing that, you're hoping to create a short corner. But I got to tell you, Ryan Schrader did a great job of his eyes not falling for the bait on a double A-gap blitz and getting out to blocking Thomas Davis as an edge rusher. Well done.
48-yard field goal try by Bryant, who's already hit from 51. And right there again for Matt Bryant. 3 possessions. Touchdown, field goal for the Falcons. We're back in 30 seconds. A month ago during the Falcons bye week, Matt Ryan had his jersey retired. Charles, you've been there many times. His alma mater, Boston College.
How about that? And what a tremendous career that he had there. Wore number 12 for the Boston College Eagles. At one point his senior year, he had them ranked number 2 in the country. Did a fantastic job there. Well rewarded by getting his jersey retired. And you know who else had that happen this year? On Carolina's sideline is Luke Kuechly. They retired his jersey as well this season.
They had a pretty good running back with him too. William Green, I believe, was the #1 pick of the Cleveland Browns at one time. Very good offense.
Look at what Atlanta does when they get out to the lead early. Unanswered points runs that they've had over the last 3 weeks.
And the Panthers will get it at the 25-yard line, coming off that outstanding game in the win over Washington on Monday night. Slow start, already a turnover in this one.
And Chris, you talked about at the top of the game that Cam Newton knows that he has to be more of a point guard as a quarterback, right? Get the ball off his hands, distribute it, and not be the guy that takes everything on his shoulders and tries to make every play. Well, here's a perfect time for him to live to those words. They're only down 13-0. Jonathan Stewart hasn't been heard from much so far. If I'm Carolina, I'm thinking I want to get some things settled down a little bit, try and run the ball, and let some physicality come into the game with Stewart rather than going spreading it and throwing it around the yard.
More than likely the final play of this opening quarter, and slam behind the line of scrimmage is Stewart. Grady Jarrett there on the stop.
I'm sorry, guys. The problem with something like that is you've got to gain yardage, right? That offensive line's got to create a few creases for Stewart. They've got to control the ball a little bit because Atlanta is pretty hot right now when they have the ball.
And I think Grady Jarrett's the most underrated player on his Falcon defense because he eats a lot of blockers and takes up space.
That'll do it in the opening quarter. A quarter dominated by the Falcons trying to win the division here today. Fox NFL Sunday back after a word from your local station. Sellout crowd on a beautiful Saturday, Christmas Eve Saturday in Charlotte. You know, jumping on the opposition is something the Falcons have made a pretty good habit of. They have scored 125 points in the opening quarter. The league average is 64.
So you know who needs credit for that? Kyle Shanahan, Dan Quinn, and Matt Ryan. The 3 guys that put this game plan together along with the other coaches because they obviously see something that they like throughout practice. And the fact that they come out to start every game with a purpose and a mission, and they execute it under pressure of the start of a football game.
And how about having a defensive-minded head coach who opens up the attack for you and tells you every day, go get them, guys. Go get them on offense. Doesn't hold them back at all.
All right, let's see if the Panthers can get anything going here. They hand it to Stewart. By far his best run of the day. And he's up to the 45-yard line, a gain of 20 on first down.
So Charles is calling for Jonathan Stewart, and what you do is, all right, if we can't run it out of I-backs and 2-backs, let's go with a little zone read action where Cam could have kept it there or gave it to Stewart, made the good decision to give it to Stewart and let him get in space because when he has the football, he runs angry.
Yeah, and how about Greg Olsen, number 88, out on the corner with a nice block. And Trey Turner back inside at guard where he was a Pro Bowler last year, was mauling his guy up front.
Across the middle and right through the hands of Devin Funchess. And while we have a moment, let's once more go back to Los Angeles to Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Tom. Well, the Packers are helping their cause to claim that NFC North crown. Aaron Rodgers' 20-yard touchdown pass to Devontae Adams. It's his birthday today. He turns 24 years old, and that just means we're old, Tom. Packers up 14-3.
All right, Carissa, thank you very much. A huge game inside that division. Packers trying to run the table. They'll play the Lions next week. Long ball down the sideline, and that looked like a ball that should have been caught by Kelvin Benjamin.
Got a lot of those contested on the side. That Jalen Collins, 32.
Yep.
Glad to have him back. Is Atlanta. Didn't play last week with a knee injury. Look at him stay there. Tries to find the ball. And in a sense, you could say, hold up a second. Hands on him the whole way. But the officials are going to establish, hey, look at them both hands on each other. We'll let them play. Benjamin can't haul it in.
That's 2 passes and 2 drops.
Yep.
NFL wide receivers need to make that catch when they get that ball close to their hands. You have to bring it in.
Now 3rd down and 10 for Newton. And down the middle of the field into triple coverage with an eye on Olsen. And that's going to be all for the Carolina offense after the 2 drops.
So he's struggled with accuracy and percentage-wise. And the problem is the feet. When his footwork is on, he is pretty good. When his footwork is off, he's not very good. You see right there, he's throwing off his back foot. His left foot is parallel with his right foot. He's square to the target, and he doesn't step to the target. When he steps to the target, he's phenomenal. When he steps away from the target or opens his hips too far, he can't hit the side of the barn.
Didn't really have a clean pocket there either, did he? Had people at his feet, so he couldn't step into it as well.
He could move his feet to step into it because there was a nice little throwing lane to his left.
That one dropped inside the 10. Happy Hanukkah to many, and an early Merry Christmas.
Sponsored by Chevrolet. More 2016 J.D. Power Dependability Awards than any other brand.
Guys, when I look see this Atlanta Falcons team, I see similarities, especially in the offenses. 2008 to 12, look at that offensive line. Baker, Blaylock, McClure, Dahl, and Claybo. Michael Burner, Turner behind them. Look at where we are today with Matthews, Levitre, Mack, Chester, and Schrader. Devontae Freeman and Tevin Coleman equaling Michael Turner. Similarly constituted offensive lines and running backs and running games. How about what they've done with Dan Quinn, Thomas Dimitroff, the GM, Scott Pioli, the assistant GM, remaking that team and bringing them into playoff contention.
Matt Ryan is 10 out of 10. Has hit 8 different receivers so far in this one. And Freeman on 1st down, a gain of 4.
One reason why is that Atlanta has been able to establish the running game, and we hear it every week. It's football 101. When an offense becomes balanced, that puts a defense on its heels. And like Charles' point, that offensive line has been stout and solid all year. And I think the best center, or playing the best, in my opinion, that I've seen on film, Alex Mack has been a key addition for this Falcons team.
Run it again on 2nd and 6, and able to hang on for dear life is Bradbury. It brings up 3rd down.
You know, coming into this game, Chris, Carolina talked a lot about how physical they expected this game to be. It's a game they look forward to. Their physicality, being able to run the ball themselves. So far in this game, these eyes are seeing Atlanta's offensive line and running backs establishing that physicality. What do you think?
Well, I'm seeing an offensive line that's playing for its playoff life and playoff position. Now Carolina has to match their energy and their intensity.
They've got DeMarco, the lone running back. More than likely, that tells you they're going to throw here on 3rd down. 3rd and 2. And Ryan is sacked. And this is a Carolina team. It is tied for the most sacks in the NFL with the Denver Broncos.
And DeMarco, you mentioned in there, giving away the run. Well, he threw a no-hitter. He's asked Thomas Davis. And see, he went the wrong way. He was not patient, and he did not adjust. Missing Thomas Davis, or excuse me, Shaq Thompson on the blitz, allowing Shaq Thompson to seal the deal. But that's a mental error, a rare mental error by DeMarco.
Stepped up into one gap, and Shaq Thompson came from the backside in another.
Carolina figuring to get good field position. A terrible punt off the side of the foot by Matt Boshu. And the Panthers will start this drive inside Atlanta territory, trailing 13-0. Small screen, stadium-sized content. Watch live local Sunday games right on your smartphone with NFL Mobile. That is big league indeed, to quote both Charles Davis and Chris Spielman.
Yes, no doubt. Hey guys, real quick, you know, we just talked about the Atlanta offensive line, right? The contrast this year has been Carolina's offensive line, which has to go through a lot of changes. This is their 5th different starting combo today. Makes it hard to keep your offensive continuity.
Well, they get Darrell Williams back today at right tackle. But man, that has been a revolving door all season long. First down, Olsen, and he has just set an NFL record. Becoming the first tight end in league history to have 3 consecutive 1,000-yard receiving seasons.
Gets an assist from Kelvin Benjamin. Watch a little rub route. Picks off Keanu Neal. Jalen Collins, not seeing the play form in front of him, jumps the slant route instead of playing his zone as Keanu Neal is the injured player.
And how incredible is that? Because you think about this game and this league and the number of incredible tight ends we've seen over time. Greg Olsen, the first ever 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons. I know the game's changed. I know we throw it more than ever. But what an accomplishment for Greg Olsen. Tony Gonzalez didn't do that.
Came over to trade from Chicago in 2011 for a 3rd-round draft pick. That is truly one of the greatest trades in the history of the league.
No doubt about it. And he's a primary receiver for Carolina, not a secondary guy. But watch this play here. See, he gets it there, but inside, as you had talked about, you see the guys on the ground there? That was Benjamin and Keanu Neal. That was the play that's how it made it happen. It was, as you said, a rub inside, and he actually took him out of the play to allow Greg Olsen access outside to pick up that 1,000-yard season.
And Jalen Collins, the corner, was late coming off the slant because Neal was coming up from the safety position to take the slant away. And a nice patient read and an accurate underneath throw by Cam Newton allowed Greg Olsen to make NFL history.
Well, he already ranks among the top 10 all-time in tight ends and receptions and yards. He's closing in on the top 10 in touchdowns. As Whitaker stays on his feet, that'll be a gain of 20 on first down. To wrap it up quickly, though, on Olsen, if he keeps going the way he's going, he will be in the top 2 or 3 in every category in the history of the NFL for the tight end position.
Yeah, he'll have HOF beside his name. Great player, competitor, playing hurt with the elbow.
Look at the names on that list. Shannon Sharp 3 times. Kellen Winslow, who really set the standard for the modern tight end after John Mackey had established it. Mike Ditka before him. Incredible roll call of names for Greg Olsen.
Blown dead before it ever got started. 1st and goal.
Ball start. Offense number 68. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Andrew Norwell, the only offensive lineman this year for Carolina that's played every game in the same spot he started game 1.
That's right.
Which is the left guard.
Yeah,
everyone else has moved around in some form or another.
Yeah, I mean, you go back to Michael Orr was injured with a concussion in week 3, so Remmers, a right tackle, goes to left tackle. Ryan Khalil, 7 games injured.
They're under 3rd starting center right now in Tyler Larson. 4th guy has played the position this year. Chris Scott has started some games at guard. Turner had to pump out the tackle. Williams back at tackle, as you noted. But that was a nice run that they set up last play.
Newton to the end zone, and it's caught, but out of the end zone is Funchess. That was nearly intercepted by Robert Alford.
But the story of this game for me has been Atlanta's defensive backs in terms of pass coverage because, yeah, he catches it at the end, but again, look at the coverage. Look at Alford. They are plastered on these receivers, and despite the fact that they are jumbo-sized guys, they are having trouble getting themselves free or uncovering late in routes. The secondary of Atlanta is making every throw a tough one and a contested one.
Well, how big was that penalty? Instead of 1st and goal from the 8, you're backed up to the 13, now 2nd and goal, and they're going to have to call a timeout. So 2nd and goal coming up with 10:32 to play until halftime. And you know, fellas, a year ago when Ron Rivera's team had that magical ride all the way to the NFC title and on to the Super Bowl, a lot of the close games, they were winning the tight games. Here today, they've been overwhelmed statistically, but they're a play away from being within 6 points.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's why I said earlier, don't panic just because you're down 13. Atlanta puts runs on teams that are very, very difficult to come back from. Use that running game. Use Tolbert. Use Jonathan Stewart. Use Cam. settle things down, and right now they have a chance to put the ball in the end zone.
Well, so the adjustment that they made, they've gone to one-back formations, whether it's 3 wide receivers, which we call 11 personnel, or 12 personnel, 2 tight ends and 1 running back, and that's the formations that they feel comfortable with, and what it allows to get their play action going a little bit off of the zone read look or any type of bootleg look with a fake to Stewart.
Yeah, a little bit more of their movement in the backfield instead of straight ahead running.
Newton rolling, looking for Olsen in the end zone, and he overthrew him into double coverage. Yep, he was open momentarily.
He's got to get his head around, meaning Cam Newton has to get his head around with Greg Olsen, who was open and creating space. Charles talks about creating space as a tight end. Right there, he had Collins jump inside. That ball should be on that left outside shoulder. The ball was late. Cam's holding on it just a little bit too long. It did not get his head around to see where Olsen was open.
They needed to get it done fast because the coverage closed on the backside. Second defensive back looked like Sherrod Neesman, number 20, showed up as well.
Third down and goal from a 13. And the throw is too high for Kelvin Benjamin, who was open.
That's just inaccuracy there. All right, maybe you can dispute me if you want to, but Benjamin is there, and he's a giant receiver, but he doesn't have a step ladder with him as well. All right, if he puts the ball on Benjamin, with that size, he's got a play to keep Ricardo Allen away from the football and make the catch. Benjamin didn't have a chance.
It's an opportunity to make a play when a play needs to be made, and you're the star and the superstar. You got to put that ball on a dime in the end zone.
31-yard attempt by Graham Gano. And the Panthers are on the board after the poor punt from Bosher. They settle for 3. Boy, how about this right here from our referee, Bill Vinovich, coming over to congratulate NFL history for Greg Olsen. That's a classy move.
It is. Very classy move by Bill Vinovich. That's pretty terrific. Chris Bielema and I were on the phone with Dean Blandino, who's the head of the officials. Talked to him about some things before ahead of the game. I guarantee you right now, Dean Blandino's got a big smile on his face, a little bit of pride watching one of his officials exhibit that sort of class.
That's respect.
Yes.
Respect for Greg Olsen, and Greg shaking his hands, respect for the job that the officials do week in and week out.
In a sense, they're all in it together in some ways.
Got it.
Even though they may disagree about a few things along the way.
From time to time.
Occasionally, possibly.
Well, who could forget the first meeting this year between these two teams? Matt Ryan and Julio Jones will never forget it. Week 4, Ryan threw for 503 yards, 4 touchdowns. Jones, the fourth most prolific receiving day in NFL history, 300 yards. First time in a game ever where teammates had 500 passing yards and 300 receiving yards in a single game.
Chris, you were there. What was it like?
Just an amazing effort, and right then and there, you knew that Atlanta had it going offensively. That was the 4th week of the season, and not only running, but throwing the football and spreading the ball around. We've only gotten better.
And the teams combined in that one for 81 points. 40 of the 81 were in the 4th quarter of this game, so sit tight. Let's check in downstairs with our buddy Peter Schrager.
Tom, Falcons fans holding their breath about Keanu Neal. It's an ankle injury. He's questionable return, but he was just running sprints over here on the sideline. He looks all right. Of course, Neal, as you guys know, leads all rookies in tackles.
And Peter, they really hope he can get back because I think part of their defensive game plan is Keanu Neal checking Greg Olsen, the tight end for Carolina. They think he's got the size and the agility and the length to deal with Greg Olsen, so they'll need him back in the lineup.
It was quite a sight to see down the field before the game. All the autographs and kissing babies by Peter Schrager. A lot of the fans on the sideline. Julio Jones, excellent coverage here by Bradbury. And now Bradbury gave up receptions to Jones the first 3 play of the game and then injured his toe.
Yeah, and that's part of the story of today. Bradbury coming back. He ended up missing the next 3 games. And that's really terrific coverage for a defensive back because Chris, he just rode him over to the sideline. No place for the ball to fit in there.
The other thing he did by getting his hands on him and pushing him outside a little bit, That disrupted the timing of the route. Anytime you can get physical like that as a corner, you got a chance to win and you help yourself, never getting out of position. It is again. Julio likes to run crossing routes from that tight coverage, or that tight lineup.
They're down and 10, tried to get across the middle, and instead they find Mohamed Sanu, his first catch of the day, and he's up for a first down to the 48-yard line.
Well, we've talked throughout this game about the number of targets and the number of places Matt Ryan can go. Here's another one, Mohamed Sanu, another big, lanky receiver, nicely done in terms of patience in his route, sold the fake outside, and came across the middle. And I'm fascinated, guys, because you know who's coaching the receivers for Atlanta now? A former defensive coordinator, head coach in this league, Raheem Morris, coaching offense now for the first time. I think he's brought some of that toughness to this receiving corps.
That is a 9th different receiver that Ryan has hit already in this game. And that'll be a gain of 7 on first down by Devontae Freeman.
And Chris, we just saw some of that toughness there. Did you see the block by Sanu, number 12?
Yeah.
Run by Devontae Freeman.
Tried to crack on Kurt Coleman, number 20. Did you ask me, did I see that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I keep forgetting. You see everything.
I mean, the one on Kurt Coleman where he kind of hit him hard, but he missed him?
Yeah, I have a feeling I'll hear about that the rest of my life.
Ryan, Sanu again, inside the 20 and down to the 18-yard line.
I'm gonna get on Bradbury here a little bit, because at the end of the play, he's not going to finish. First of all, watch Bradbury in coverage. Now, first of all, it's a clean release. No hands on him. He's pointing. But watch the effort right here. Is he running as hard and as fast as he can to get in on that play? The answer is, if you're going to be honest, which we are in this broadcast, no. That's a lack of effort. That's unacceptable. Run to the ball.
First down inside the 20, and Freeman down to the 8-yard line, another first down.
There can't be a more confident offensive line in the game right now than Atlanta's, can there? Because they feel good about everything they're doing. There's Alex Mack, number 51, going to another Pro Bowl. Let's see how he controlled the nose right there, number 92, Vernon Butler. That was the key to everything. Then look at Freeman running through traffic and running through tackles.
And they spotted him a yard short of the first down.
Ball start. Offense number 73. 5-yard penalty. To the second down.
So they're back in the red zone now, and one of the things that we talked about with Atlanta's staff, they said, hey, Carolina, very tough to deal with in the red zone. They're second in defense. So a lot of their thinking was, can we strike outside of the red zone where there's more space? Because when the field gets condensed, that coverage gets tighter, and Carolina seems to play it pretty well. Here's a test now. Inside the red zone, what will Atlanta do to try and create space for their guys?
6th time that Schrader's been whistled for a false start. That's second most in the NFL. Set up the screen to Tevin Coleman. Lost his footing trying to cut it. And down to the 12.
This is part of their game plan, Charles, and one area where Atlanta's improved is red zone scoring from as opposed to last year where they had a lot of red zone turnovers, but this is big for them. Screening inside the red zone, and I'll tell you, that's a beautiful play right there by Leonard Johnson, number 23.
Yeah, he beat the block by Mohamed Sanu, got underneath Sanu and put the hit on Coleman as he tried to make the cut inside. Got 2 big targets now. I guess we're going to take a timeout. Had Julio Jones and Sanu on the field.
Well, a chance today for the Falcons to wrap up in year number 2 under Dan Quinn, the NFC South, their first divisional championship since 2012. And Tampa Bay will play later today. They will be down in New Orleans. But, you know, fellas, I'm curious. We know about the Dallas Cowboys. They've slumped a little bit of late, came away with a tight one against Tampa Bay last Sunday night. How do you think these Falcons shake up against everybody else in the playoff picture? Should they make it?
You want to go first?
I think they shape up fine. I'm one that believes that you know, they talk about defense winning championships. I think offense wins championships. The defense can hold on, and you have a prolific offense like the Falcons, you can win a lot of football games, including the Super Bowl.
It'll be interesting because as explosive as Atlanta is on offense, that'd be a heck of a test for Dallas's defense. and the way Dallas wants to play on offense, which is running the ball and then take their shots. Atlanta can strike a lot quicker, so I think that'd be a really nice matchup, a little bit of a contrast.
And their defense keeps getting better and better week in and week out.
Of course, a couple of other teams out there. You know, you mentioned Seattle.
Yep.
The team, though, that you have to have.
Green Bay.
Green Bay.
Green Bay. They haven't gotten there yet.
I'm out.
But they're the ones that's scaring everyone right now because of Aaron Rodgers, because he is locked in. Taylor Gabriel's been dynamite lately, and he's down here on the bottom.
Julio Jones at the top, and they find Freeman as he beat Thomas Davis. And it is 1st and goal down in the 4-yard line.
This is one of the better throws that Matt Ryan will make because he has to put it where only his guy gets it. Thomas Davis is outstanding in coverage, but Freeman and Coleman present such a threat out of the backfield. And when you have a guy delivering strikes like that, you can't defend it no matter how good the coverage is.
Play fake, and it's knocked down at the line of scrimmage.
Who got their hand on the ball in the trash there? Was it KK Short, 99?
Might have been
Or
Davis.
was it Shaq Thompson, 54, coming on that delayed kind of blitz? What do they call that? Green dog, where he's delayed and he ends up approaching the line of scrimmage and does a nice job elevating and knocking that away like the former DB he was for a time in college.
What they're saying in the film room, next time he does that, take his legs, get his hands down so we have a clear path to throw.
Get him out of the lane, right?
Yep.
That is caught down at the 1-yard line. So it'll bring up 3rd down on the catch by Gabriel.
Should be an eligible man downfield. Watch Levitri. See that? He's downfield blocking in the end zone. That's a missed call by the officials. That's a design play, and that's a mistake by the officials because he's down there trying to throw the pick.
And this is not something that's new.
No.
Right? We've seen this a lot this year, but teams are going to go until people start to whistle.
I love the call. It's not the Falcons' job to officiate themselves. That's the officials' job to officiate the Falcons.
3rd down and goal, 3 tight ends, 1 extra offensive lineman. DeMarco, naturally they're going to throw it. And Ryan will throw, and that is a touchdown.
Cannot put a defensive lineman in coverage in this situation. He doesn't know what to do on scramble rules, and Charles Johnson gets lost in space.
And look who ends up catching the ball. It's the guy they just brought up from the practice squad, DJ Tia-Lavia, who ends up catching the ball. But the thing for me on this one, the mobility of Matt Ryan. Guys, we've watched him over the years. It's not that he was ever a statue, but I think over the last 2 years, in order to run Kyle Shanahan's offense, he has worked really hard on his agility and mobility, not just to keep plays alive, but to run the bootleg game, right? Run the play-action fake game that they do, the stretch play game, and there was an evidence of it right there. Matt Ryan getting out of the pocket.
Why don't I have my leading sack guy in history covering passes?
10th different receiver hit in this game. And a touchdown for DJ after he was just activated this week, back in 30 seconds. This is truly the greatest gift of all. Take a look at that. Young Solomon and his father, David Fletcher, has not seen him in 6 months. And he pops out of the sleigh in the end zone a moment ago to surprise his little boy. Can there be a better gift than that?
I don't think so, because they gave him a game ball ahead of time. Notice the game ball went right to the wayside to go right to Dad. How cool is that? Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Welcome home.
Fletcher family, well done.
Yeah, that's great.
Well done by the Panthers.
Exactly.
Putting that together. 11 plays, 75 yards. Tia-Lavia, the touchdown capping off the drive. 10 receivers with a catch today. That ties a season best for Ryan. Did the same thing in the heartbreaking loss at Seattle. This is a very important drive now for the Panthers with 5:34 to play until halftime. Peter Schrager.
Pretty cool moment there. DJ Talavea was brought up from the practice squad. If you notice, the Falcons bench celebrated like it was just a Super Bowl. Talavea's father just passed away, and his whole family flew in for this game. It's his first NFL action here, and they're all sitting in the stands. He was pointing to the crowd, and the bench reaction to that moment was one of the coolest things you'll see in a game. This team, they are a brotherhood, and that was a good moment of that.
Exciting moment for Talavea. And look at Coach Quinn.
Yep.
Hugging DJ. It's awesome.
And Peter, you talk about that brotherhood. You see those on the T-shirts or the undershirts that guys wear for the game. It says brotherhood for the Falcons, so they don't just write it on their shirts. They believe it.
All right, first down, and a catch is made by Ted Kim Jr. Let's check in with Carissa Thompson.
I love that story, Peter. Great report on that. Good NFC North battle going on in Green Bay. Adam Thielen, 71-yard touchdown from Sam Bradford. How about this stat line? 6 receptions for 142 yards for him on the day. Green Bay still up 21-13. Tom?
That went a long way from being over.
Oh, without a doubt. What a play there. Bradford finding Thielen.
Jonathan Stewart smothered.
One of the reasons why Atlanta's defense is getting better is that man right there, rookie linebacker Deion Jones, who made the tackle and really has come into his own and is seeing the field so much better. You're going to get a pull by Larson, but one thing Deion has that a lot of guys don't have is that little shake right there to avoid the contact by Larson. You cannot teach that. Uses his speed and burst like a running back and his vision to get a good tackle at the line of scrimmage.
And if Carolina's going to stay in this game, this is a critical third down. You don't want to give it back to Atlanta again. And they convert on the reception by Benjamin up to the 36-yard line.
Better footwork right there by Cam Newton. Stepping into the throw. Shoulders and feet are married to the target, and you're going to throw accurately. Now watch his footwork compared to what we showed you last time. Watch him see the field, Charles. See, and watch that right foot. That left foot steps to the target, and he's able to throw the strike. Well done by Cam Newton on the adjustment with the footwork.
Newton first down, and that's to Olsen. That'll be a gain of close to 8 on first down, clock at 3:40.
Talk about how do you get Cam to do that? Well, one thing Coach Shuley, offensive coordinator, has been able to do when Cam takes a snap from shotgun, he is really open. His right foot is really back, and his shoulders are slightly turned at a 45 facing the Falcons sideline. So when he receives the snap, he just takes a couple steps back, and he's already in throwing position, and his footwork are in good position upon the snap.
Olsen was shaken up after that reception, went over to the sideline, and there's a conversion for another first down across midfield to the 47. We'll keep an eye on Olsen, who stays on the Carolina sideline.
One thing you can't take away from Cam Newton, I think, Charles, is his toughness. And he'll take shots, and he's a big guy, and he's a competitor. But again, the footwork and shoulders and feet are married to the target, and he's on time but not target.
And what about the shot there from Grady Jarrett?
How do you miss that?
That should be called.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, we've been talking about this all year. I've seen glancing blows, way less than that. That should be efficient. That should be flagged. That one should have been called right there.
All day to throw it. And now Newton off his back foot just airs it out for Brown. Boy, it looked like Brown was the one who should have come to get that ball.
And
Funchess was also in the neighborhood.
And I think Brown pulled off of it, Tom, like a center fielder and a left fielder.
Yeah.
Like, hey, okay, you've got it. And then Funchess didn't go out and get it with 2 hands.
Well, and Funchess doesn't know that Brown is there because he's running his route and doing his job on the scramble drill. He's open. Now he's just looking back. He's not looking for Brown. Now at the end of this play, Corey Brown is going to show the frustration and do a double fist pump down like, darn it, that was mine. But Funchess did the right thing. He adjusted his route accordingly.
I thought he'd go out and try and lay out and get 2 hands on that thing. Went out there with 1 hand, but that's just one of those ones that just missed. And that's been part of the story of the season for Carolina.
Saw Greg Olsen back in the game. They give it to Whitaker. And he picks up 2 to bring up third down. And a timeout going to be called by Carolina. No, Atlanta, I beg your pardon. You know, you go back to Cam Newton. I mean, there have been hits on him legally. There have been hits on him illegally going back to the season opener in Denver.
Now remember, this is where the discussion really began, was that season opener with Denver, and it's continued throughout the year. That one was not illegal. He was a runner on that play. You did that game, Chris Spielman.
Yeah. That caused a concussion, which knocked him out of a game.
And then here's this one here where Grady Jarrett's coming in. I know people will say, hey, that's not a hit to the head. I'm just telling you, this season I've watched a lot of football too, and I've seen that flagged. People are going to say that shouldn't be flagged. I've seen that flag. So if I'm wrong, someone's going to have to tell me where.
I mean, are you kidding me? One time this year, going back to last year, in fact, one time this guy's been illegally hit.
But that goes back to 2015.
Right.
Total numbers there. And that's what you've got. And I know Ron Rivera said he feels like he gets treated like Shaquille O'Neal did in basketball. Bigger, stronger, more physical guy, takes more for the calls to be made. Chris and I talked with Dean Blandino in pregame, and he said he's told his referees and his officials, you want to officiate the game the same for everyone. And he wasn't saying that they weren't with Cam. He wasn't saying that any of that. Just make sure you don't overreact to the public criticism, but also make sure you call the game the way it's supposed to be called. Whether we agree or disagree on the one that we saw with Grady Jarrett, that stat line there lingers out there for Cam Newton and the Dolphins.
It's man coverage right now, and Carolina's had trouble beating any type of man coverage. You see the tight coverage here. At least they're showing man in a pre-snap.
Third down. Cam gets it away, and it's in and out of the hands of Olsen. Excellent coverage there at the 44-yard line. So now fourth down, and they're going to punt it.
Well,
giving Atlanta one more chance with the ball.
Sorry, Tom, but they tried to pick Olatoye. He had nothing to do with it. He kept his eyes, avoided the contact of the other crosser, and was able to keep right up with Olsen on the crossing route. Well done on the man coverage in that situation.
And I don't want to make an excuse for Greg Olsen, but I wonder too with that brace, the flexibility of it, because a lot of that, catching it and bringing it to your body, maybe the brace doesn't allow him to bring it in quick enough. It was a very nice play by Olatoye.
Velarde trying to pin him again inside the 10. He will right at the 10. But Matt Ryan has 2:21, one timeout, and the 2-minute warning. All right, now here in Carolina, there's longtime GM Dave Gettleman and Charles Davis. You share a Hudson Valley connection.
Yeah, Coach Gettleman, the coach of Spackenkill High School, one of our colleagues on our crew, our AD, Alex Olsen, went to Spackenkill as well. And the Spartans, and that's my high school, New Paltz High School, the Hudson Valley in New York. I'm trying to get past Dwayne Booby Hall. May he rest in peace there from Ellenville High. But we played against Spackenkill twice when I was there, when Coach Gettleman was there. Beat them both times. He's still,
nice.
he's still a little upset over a 2-point conversion that he said didn't. He's still bitter about the whole thing. But, Coach, that official, we give him a dinner each and every year in his honor in New Paltz, New York. So that drives Coach crazy.
Scott Pioli also from that neck of the woods, if I'm not mistaken.
Washingtonville, New York, Orange County, the Washingtonville Wizards.
Thomas Davis dropping Freeman in the backfield, which will take us to the 2-minute warning. 20-3, Atlanta. Follow your favorite team all season long. Go to itunes.com/NFL. You know, we want to correct something a moment ago. Apparently there is a major discrepancy in the number of times that Cam Newton, we showed you it was one time.
Since 2015 that he drew a flag in the pocket, and the actual number is 3, according to the updated statistics that we have.
All right, so 3 it is. Second down and 15. It's still 3. That is the first down up to the 11.
So there's the updated number, but you still see why Carolina will look at people and say, okay, what's going on? If our guy is the reigning MVP and he ranks up there with the other guys in terms of quarterbacks, do these numbers really add up? So that's what Carolina's saying. Those are the numbers as we have them. Now as we look at Atlanta going down the stretch here, guys, in the 2-minute drill, they threw the ball on first down. Dan Quinn, as we talked about, Chris, is an attack coach. Even though he's a defensive guy, I don't expect them to tuck their tail here before the half. I expect them to try and get down and score some more points.
Yeah, they're too good to play safe. You have DeMarco in there at blocking back. Now remember, he missed his block on the blitz the last time. Let's see if Carolina counters. There's DeMarco right there.
Third down and 9, and on the blitz it is Coleman. Well, what a nice year he's having. He's not going to the Pro Bowl, but he certainly has earned a trip to the Pro Bowl.
Well, that's a double A gap look that we've talked about. And let's see where the problem comes is that Alex Mack does not slide the defense to the left. Alex Mack goes to the right, but there are 3 defenders coming to the left. You have to be able to slide the defense one way or another. He went to the same side as DeMarco. The rule on slide protection is the center always goes opposite the running back. That time the center and running back ended up on the same side, creating the open lane for Coleman.
Yeah, DeMarco didn't miss on that one.
No.
He had it. He had it, and as you noted, wrong slide protection, and Coleman came free. And Tom, I think you made an excellent point about the year Coleman's having. If you're really honest about it, we're talking about the last 2 to 3 seasons that Coleman's had, where he's played awfully well, but he's got a lot of competition in the secondary for a Pro Bowl spot.
Well, he initially broke in with Philadelphia, a 3-year starter there, 1 year in Kansas City, now his 2nd year in Carolina. So now Boshier punts from his own end zone. He had a 30-yarder his last time, and he hammers this one, driving Ginn Jr. back to the 38. Ginn spun down right at midfield, so more than enough time for Newton and the Panthers. 1:40 left, they're out of timeouts. Visa halftime's coming up. How about it, Kurt Menefee?
Coming up on the Visa halftime, an upset of the Patriots is on the Jets' Christmas wish list. The Jaguars try to dash the Titans' playoff hopes, and the Dolphins look to wrap up a win in Buffalo. So get the milk and cookies ready for Santa, and make sure you join us on the Visa halftime.
Kurt, you're not allowed to have cookies. Pass them on down here. Let me give them chocolate chips.
So there we have it, Jimmy Claus. Because that was supposed to be for Santa. Jimmy said, forget that. I knocked those down myself.
All right, so Newton and the Panthers from midfield. And it's intercepted by Jalen Collins. And he'll bring it back the other way inside the 25, run out of bounds at the 22. And boy, this has been a brutal opening half for Cam Newton.
Well, the problem is like these eyes are taking the defensive backs right to the football. Look at Jalen Collins playing zone, and he's just reading those eyes, and he's breaking on the ball before the receivers are breaking on the ball.
And Jalen wasn't covering the intended target, was he? Because he was able to follow the football, follow Cam Newton's path, he was able to get there and take it away from where the ball was intended. And how big a target is Jalen Collins? Remember, he's a corner with a safety body. 6'1", 203, has the length. They missed him last week playing. He's back now filling in for Desmond Trufant and playing at a really high level down the stretch.
Cam Newton, 6 of 18, 58 passing yards, and 2 interceptions. And now the Falcons with a chance to make it mighty tough. Freeman, and took a hit from Shaq Thompson.
Nice play by Shaq Thompson. And Chris, I think you've noticed that they've started to move him inside in their sub packages now. We're playing a middle linebacker, more of a rover and a better cover guy.
Good read right there. They tried to clear him out. He was having none of it. Had a great jump on the football.
Gain of 4. Now 2nd and 6. He'll go back to Freeman again. It'll bring up 3rd down. And Atlanta will spend its final timeout. And we will throw it to Los Angeles to Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Tom. Atlanta having a statement game. So is Green Bay. 21-13, under a minute left in the first half. Aaron Rodgers scrambles for a 6-yard score. That calf looking just fine. He's having a day. 3 passing and 1 rushing touchdown. Packers lead 28-13 at halftime. Tom?
Wow.
Setting the stage.
You know, Carissa talked about the calf injury that Aaron Rodgers had. Remember, he had a hamstring before. But what do you do with those injuries, Chris Spielman? You put ice on them, right?
Yeah, he's tough.
So you put ice on them, and you play in Green Bay where it's icy every day. And it's working out pretty well for Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay at this moment.
What a showdown that could potentially be next week, depending on how everything plays out over these next 48 hours.
Could be for the division title with Detroit in Detroit if Green Bay holds on today.
Of course, Detroit will play in Dallas.
Got to be careful of crossing routes by Julio Jones right here.
Ryan looking around and slides short of the first half. And out comes Matt Bryant.
Well, you mentioned it, Chris. Julio Jones on a crossing route, and that's where Matt Ryan wanted to go initially. And he wanted to try and keep the play alive, did Matt Ryan. Watch him. He looked there first. He wants to keep it alive, but guess what? Because of the way the blocking was, he really needed to go ahead and run earlier. But he wanted to stay in the pocket and throw it. They left him no other option.
30-yard field goal try by Bryant, 2 of 2. And that one was blocked. Or it appeared to be blocked.
The way that was hit, I would have thought blocked because Matt Bryant doesn't really miss hit very many. So let's take a look.
Yep.
Yeah, got a little hand on it there.
Vernon
What was
Butler.
that? Was that Vernon Butler? So if that's Butler, I believe this is the second time he's done that this season. See, number 92, the rookie out of Louisiana Tech. That's the second time this season he's blocked a field goal attempt. The first one came against New Orleans on that Thursday night game here.
Here's the other thing, too. On that field goal, you cannot allow any penetration. He got about a yard penetration into the backfield. That's the rule. When you do that, you have a chance to get it blocked because that ball was not hit low, because Matt Bryant doesn't hit low field goals, especially from short distance.
The Atlanta Falcons had more yards returning Cam Newton interceptions than the Panthers had passing yards in the first half. But the bottom line is, because of that block and because of some pretty good red zone defense by the Panthers, Carolina is still in this game at halftime, trailing by the score of 20-3. And well, Charles, I'll start with you. I mean, if you're looking for answers on offense for Carolina, what are you looking for?
Yeah, that's what we've talked about, and they had a little bit of a spark there trying to run the ball for a short amount of time, but throwing the ball has been almost a disaster for them.
Well, it is, and he had some guys open underneath. He's got to start hitting open wide receivers underneath and let the team go. Let the team play, let the Falcons play zone and hit underneath routes.
All right, it's halftime. Let's make sure we get you to Los Angeles after this timeout. First half moments brought to you by Febreze. What a start for the Falcons. Trying to nail down the NFC South. On first down, Olsen, and he has just set an NFL record. And Ryan will throw, and that is a touchdown. Those were today's first half moments, brought to you by Febreze from our good friends at Procter & Gamble. Matt Ryan, 34 touchdowns this season. That is a franchise record. Cam Newton the first time with 2 interceptions in the opening half this year. And take a look at that. 10 receivers with a catch. Matching a season best done once already by Atlanta against Seattle in that very, very tough loss. Let's go downstairs to Peter Schrager.
Tom, let's start with Carolina. I spoke with Ron Rivera. He said, look, we've got to take most of the opportunities they're giving us. We didn't make some plays we should have. But he also said we blocked a field goal at the end there. We're down 20-3. We get the ball. Let's go out there and put a fight and win this game. So there's this good spirit on the Carolina bench. Atlanta, Dan Quinn said, it got to finish. This is the key thing here. Finish. They did it the last 2 weeks against San Francisco and L.A. They've got to do it here against Carolina. Keanu Neal back in the game. Joshua Perkins, neck injury, questionable to return.
Peter, speaking of the word questionable, you are a guy who spends each and every day of his life in New York. You're on the NFL Network and the AM morning show. There's a handoff to Jonathan Stewart. Is it just my imagination, or is it about 40 or 50 degrees warmer up here in the booth than it is downstairs with those gloves you're wearing?
Yeah, you know, it's about 60 degrees, Tom, and it's actually beautiful out, but I love the look. So I'm going to go with it, Tom, okay?
You're looking good, my man.
Those are his workout gloves from Curves and Spin
Oh,
Class.
here we go. Spielman, here we go.
See, I think he's making an endorsement deal out of it.
I'll take whatever I get, Charles.
I don't blame you, brother. Get what you can.
Signing autographs before the game. He's big time.
I like him. I like him. Guess what, guys? You heard him talk about Carolina and offense trying to get something done.
Well,
And there you go.
second down, that's a reception by Chris Manhertz, a number 3 tight end on the depth chart behind Olsen and Dixon.
And that's his first catch of the year, I believe.
It is.
I don't have any other stats for him. He's a basketball player at Canisius College in upstate New York. The 4th leading rebounder in the history of the school. 116 games played on the hoops floor, and now trying to make it as an NFL tight end. But this is a big, obviously a big possession for Carolina, but I think Atlanta's defense as well. They want to turn it back over to their offense.
Strong running by Jonathan Stewart, with his team trailing by 17 as we begin the second half.
So the one area where Carolina needs to improve from the first half is the third down percentage was 1 for 6 for 17%. One way to do that is be able to put yourself in manageable situations, and what Ron Rivera and every other coach likes to talk about, stay on schedule, which they were not on schedule because of the turnovers in the first half. Right now they got a drive going, what they like to do, pound and ground.
Picked up the first third down on this series.
Second down and 6. They're going to run it to Stewart again, looking for any running room, and he's up to the 45. It'll be up third and about 1.5 yards, maybe 2.
So at 3rd and 1.5 yards or 2, Chris, that's more than manageable, right? 3rd and manageable is really about 3rd and 5 or less. So 1.5 to 2 yards, you've got a number of things open if you're Carolina on your playbook now. Can you go power with Stewart? We haven't seen Cam Newton really use his legs yet and get outside and run the football, or even a quarterback power run. Number of ways they can go here on 3rd and short.
Well, one way in this type of, you have to anticipate from a defensive side of the ball to play man-to-man defense, and what we did not see from the Carolina receivers in the first half was there's no separation created by the Carolina Panther receivers.
You know, one thing we do know for sure is, you know, at 6-8, it's not been the same kind of year for these Panthers as it was during that ride a year ago, but I think it is safe to say, fellas, they're down 20-3. This is not the kind of team or the kind of franchise that's going to phone it in here for the second half.
No, I don't expect that at all. In fact, saw the general manager, Dave Gettleman, at halftime. And the first thing he said is, we get the ball to start the second half. Let's go out and get something done there. And that's why this possession is so critical, because you get it back to 20-10, Chris, your playbook stays open.
Well, and
you let Atlanta get another touchdown, look out.
And that guy's got to play better. I mean, let's just face it, Cam Newton has to be more efficient. He has to protect the football, and when the play's open or wide receiver is wide open like Benjamin was in the first half, that's when a strike has to be delivered, and you can't airmail the football.
It does go hand in hand, doesn't it?
Yes.
Those receivers we've talked about not uncovering, make some of those tougher catches that we saw late in the half in the first half, where we saw some guys come to life and make a few catches down the stretch.
And it looked like they may have caught Alford. He was lined up across from Devin Funchess.
Encroachment. Defense number 23.
Yep.
5-yard penalty. Results in a first down.
And the only way this makes sense to me, Chris Spielman, watch Alford 23 at the top of your screen. The only reason it makes sense is exactly what you saw there. What he was trying to do was to jump on Funchess and the route before he could get off the line of scrimmage to chip away at his timing. And he went too fast. See, he's given up a lot of size and strength. He wanted to get to him quicker.
So they spend the timeout before the third down, and then they commit the penalty, giving him the first down. And now they're looking for Corey Brown, and he is run over in the secondary. And both defender and receiver looking for a flag. Ricardo Allen and Corey Brown.
Ball's underthrown, which causes Corey Brown to stop his route and Ricardo Allen to run up his back. See, the ball's underthrown. That could have been a penalty right there, because right here, watch the hands. He pulls him inside. That's got to be a flag.
Remember in Seattle earlier this year when Atlanta wanted the arm bar from Richard Sherman? that didn't get called late in the game.
Yep.
Remember that one that possibly cost Atlanta a game? That's the flip around right there, because I don't know how that wasn't called.
And Ricardo's looking up at the scoreboard. All right, let's move on to the next play.
Let's go play. Moving on. Nothing to see here. Move on. But there definitely was something to see there. I think, Chris, you pointed it out well. He grabbed him first.
Yeah.
That helped initiate it.
Look at the shotgun stance by Cam. See how open he is? Catch him throwing position.
And now he'll just run it. And he dives very close to a first down. Needed to get just inside the 41.
That's the first called run. See the open stance with the shoulders? They do that for throwing position. And they do a good job of showing whether it's run or pass that he's in that stance every time. But this is the first called run by the Panther offense and Coach Shula to get him involved and get him going and get a feel for the game. Now, when he's running, it's important to know when he dives head first or he is a running back, he is now an unprotected player for the shots to the head to continue that conversation we carried on in the first half.
Remember, the quarterback run game wasn't in the playbook for last week against Washington because he was banged up a little bit. They think he's healthier this week, thus the running plays are back in.
Timeout Carolina before a 3rd and 1.
And is sponsored by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency.
Okay, guys, this is what we had here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The 11th guy was somewhere over here on the bench. Smart move by Cam Newton. Didn't have enough guys on the field. Had to take that timeout.
Coaches are responsible for getting the proper personnel on the field. We talk about mental errors by players all the time. Let's talk about mental errors by coaches. That's your job, to get the personnel out onto the field, which you want to do.
That's such a tough one, isn't it, Tim? Because you got the coaches who are screaming about personnel. This is what we have. This is what we have. And you got it all set up. And sometimes you don't get the injury report. That guy's down. Sometimes that guy just doesn't pay attention. When you're having a season like Carolina's having, those types of things happen.
It's coach's job. That's your job. If you're a personnel guy, get the personnel on the field. That's your job. That's it. I don't care. Injury reports, no injury reports. Problems, no problems. We all got problems. Get the guys on the field. I don't have any problems. I'm doing pretty well. Quarterback power.
Well, believe me, you hang around this crew long enough and you will realize there's a whole world full of problems.
And this is where Cam Newton could be effective. And Norwell, see the split right there? He's got a natural split there to give himself room to pull so he doesn't trip over any other offensive lineman. Does a good job of kicking out Worlow. And powerful Cam Newton with his size and body, just by leaning forward, will fall forward for the first down. But just a little nuance of Norwell being a smart player, creating more space between he and the center so he doesn't get tripped up.
Second time in 7 third down tries the Panthers have converted. Now on first down, again looking for Funchess, and beautifully defended by Collins.
Jalen Collins has been magnificent today, guys. There's no getting around. It's not just intercepting passes. Watch his footwork against Devin Funchess. Doesn't let him go inside. Gets him to the outside. He's got him pinned to the sideline with his head back towards the quarterback. That way he can feel Funchess on the outside and run with him, and also knows there's no place to feather a ball in because he'd have to fade over the sideline. Textbook coverage by the corner.
See Funchess down, but you're being an ex-great DB. Just a little thing. You see him feel reach back with his right hand, just almost like a running motion.
Totally.
DBs are taught to like run and feel with their hand, and you kind of slap with your right hand if the receiver's running down the right side and he's on your outside. First of all, to disrupt his timing and to feel where he is. That's a great job of executing fundamentals under pressure.
And while we have a moment as they're tending to the injured receiver Devin Funchess, let's check in with Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Tom. A little AFC update for you. Miami was up 21-7 when LaShawn McCoy gets the ball and does the rest. 19-yard run, his 14th touchdown of the year. The Dolphins still up 21-14. They're looking for a win, and with a win from the Dolphins and a Broncos loss, they keep their playoff hopes alive.
And got to do it in the cold weather.
And with a backup quarterback.
Yes, Matt Moore. Fortunately, they've got a backup quarterback who's played in this league.
Yes.
And is coming off of a big-time performance last Saturday night in their win over the Jets in New Jersey.
Funchess clearly in some pain over on that Carolina sideline. 2nd down and 10. 11:01 to play in the third, in Atlanta with a 20-3 lead.
Funchess was a great player for the Michigan Wolverines, I'll tell you.
Much more so as a tight end. And that senior year he played as a wide receiver.
Stewart, big time running room. Cuts it to the outside and stays on his feet enough to get to a first down to the 27. But when he's healthy, this guy's a good back.
Look like your guy Norwell again getting involved, Chris. Look at him come around. See right there? Does a good job just being able to look down. Then they blocked it well on the backside. Trey Turner, number 70, back in at guard where he was a Pro Bowler last year. It's no accident the two of them are best friends, do everything together off of the field, and their coordination on the field as guards is terrific.
I like Carolina going tempo here too, Tom and Charles.
Throw it here on first down, and it's incomplete. Again, that's Jalen Collins back healthy again.
No, that's a good
last
play
week with a knee.
Good play by Collins, but that ball was behind him. He brought Collins into it, didn't he?
Yeah, and when Cam wants to be, I mean, he can be elite at times, but as he gets older, you're going to lose some of your athletic ability. So then you have to rely on technique, and his footwork wasn't exactly where it needs to be. And when he does not marry the shoulders and feet to the target, he's going to be off and behind just like that. Those are opportunities that you cannot miss in the National Football League as a starting NFL quarterback.
Play fake, Newton, great protection, now closing on him fast from behind. He'll run it. And out of bounds at the 22-yard line will bring up a third down. I know there's such a long way to go, but this has a feel of almost a must touchdown drive for Carolina. Funchess on his way to the locker room.
Especially as you look at the time ticking away. All right, it's too early to totally look at the clock, but this drive is taking a considerable amount of time for Carolina. So if you go this long and don't pay it off with a touchdown, there's some discouragement that sets in. You've got to pay it off after having this type of a drive already at 11 plays.
They're man coverage across the board, boys. Who's going to win? Who's going to win their one-on-one battles?
Newton gets it away before he's sacked. Big pressure that time by Grady Jarrett. And Ron Rivera, I think, is going to go for it on fourth down.
It's a nice job, just a four-man pressure. Grady Jarrett, Vic Beasley run a little game. That's an in-out X game. One guy goes ahead, sets a pick for another pass rusher. Then Vic Beasley and Grady Jarrett are able to converge and force Cam Newton to get rid of the ball early.
I think there is some confusion on the field. Those along the sideline, and the referee's wondering, is it third down or is it fourth down? It is a fourth down coming up. Ron Rivera doesn't think so.
Yeah, they finally got it flipped to fourth down. The sticks on the sideline said third for the longest time, and now finally got flipped to fourth. And they're going to go back over it now. So the officials are discussing it out. Bill Vinovich bringing his guys together. Phil McKinley, the head linesman, with him as well.
Well, if we're going back over the playbook, our statistician Tom Barbary, the first down incomplete pass again along the sideline. Second down 5-yard run by Stewart. Third down incompletion. This is fourth.
And who are we going to ride with? Tom Barbary.
Unless the NFL calls.
If Barbary tells me it's fourth down, I'm there.
So they will send out the field goal unit now that they know it's officially fourth down.
And I like the call here to get points on the board. Start your drive and get points, get rewarded off the board. 20-6, then you make it a 2-touchdown game.
You know why I like it at this point? Because I think the momentum ran out when they had that delay. If you were ever going to go for it, you want to go for it in rhythm while you're still out there. And all that time to think about it, I say go ahead and kick the field goal. I think it's the right thing now.
So Graham Gano will spot this one at the 30. So a 40-yard field goal try. Pilardi the holder. J.J. Jansen in his 9th year as a long snapper. And that one is beautifully right down the middle. So they chew up a lot of time and they come away with 3. Ryan and the Falcons get it for the first time in the second half when we return. Take a look at this. By adding Tia LaVea and Joshua Perkins on touchdown receptions today, A new NFL record, 13 different Falcons have caught touchdowns for Matt Ryan this year.
But think about that. You just mentioned who he added, right? DJ Tialavea, who just joined the team off the practice squad. That's his first catch. Then you added Joshua Perkins, who had his first catch we saw last week. Now it's his first touchdown catch. You get to 13. It's what we said earlier. Matt Ryan works with these guys and then trusts them in the game and gives them opportunities.
All right, how about the return of Julio Jones? 2 catches, 21 yards.
Well, Chris, we wanted to know, would the foot handle a heavy workload? Could he run? Could he cut? Could he handle press coverage? That was the first play of the game there where he beat Bradbury. Now watch him work to the sideline, working with his quarterback, and Trey Boston doesn't have a play. Julio Jones gets it. And look at the strength here. Bradbury tries to press him. He runs through him before Bradbury trips him up and gets a penalty call. Yeah, he's healthy, folks. I'm not worried about that.
Here's why he's a problem. Even if he doesn't catch a lot of balls, you still have to account for him on every defensive play where he lines up. He's that much of a threat.
Both of Jones's receptions came in the opening quarter, including the very first play of the game, and that is until now. He is still on his feet. Was never touched. Stiff arms Coleman, who drags him down all the way at the 30-yard line. A huge gain by Julio Jones.
How intelligent a play is this by Julio Jones? Because as he goes to the ground, let's see if he catches it. It appears to me he's got his hands underneath.
Yep, quick catch.
They caught it. But watch when he's contacted, folks. Okay, he's on the ground, and as he got up, I thought he was on his feet before the contact happened. That's why he had the catch after the run.
And Ron Rivera
the run after the catch.
The call on the field.
Well, here's where defense is hurt by the calls of unnecessary hits or late hits or whatever, because now they're trained to pull off. Any close call, they pull off. Back in the old days, you would have jumped on with the people's elbow. The people's elbow would have came out.
Now this angle, it looks like a catch.
It is a catch.
The other angle we'll show you in a minute when we return.
Sponsored by the all-new 2017 Ford Super Duty. This is the next level.
The challenge is whether he is down by contact, not whether it was a catch.
After reviewing the play, the runner was down by contact at the 47-yard line. Carolina will not be charged a timeout nor a challenge.
All right, it's a 22-yard gain.
We'll wind them already.
Instead of a 46-yard gain. Mike Pereira, you're not surprised by this call, are you?
No, not at all, but it is one of those fun ones in replay because you have so much to look at. Number one, was it a clear catch? And yes, he maintained control of the ball. Didn't look like the ball got to the ground. Yes, he was contacted with the right knee still on the ground. And then they had to go say, okay, where was he? Because they let him get up and run. So they had to put it back at the 47. Good use of instant replay.
Very nice.
Yeah, they nailed that one in total. But I have to say, at the end, even though it didn't count, that's about as good a straight arm as you're going to see in the National Football League that he put on Kirk Coleman at the end.
The fairness to the officials, too, that's a bang-bang play. We have the advantage, and thank gosh the league has the advantage of slowing it down to get the right call because you can see in real time he looked like he wasn't down, right?
I think we were both convinced he wasn't in real time. That's well done, as Mike Pereira said, by the replay officials and the officials on the field getting it correct.
Well, it is a first down reception by Jones. And the ball to 47. Tevin Coleman, that's a nice tackle made by the second-year backer, Shaq Thompson.
I want to show this replay, please, boys. Bring it up because Jake Matthews, and we talk about the offensive line and what a fine pass blocker he is, but watch the run block and him pushing his man downfield, sustaining blocks, trying to create a short corner. Perkins misses his block on Shaq Thompson, but Jake Matthews puts his man, Horton, on the ground. That's finishing. That's sustaining. That's winning offensive line play. That's toughness in an offensive line like you spoke of earlier amongst the Falcons 5.
That was pretty good. He sounded like a great Santini right there, didn't he? Put him on the deck.
This is Perkins, who had the first touchdown of the game, the first of his career, run out of bounds a yard shy of the first down to the 44.
This is one thing about the Carolina backers, and once the great Luke Kuechly is healthy. I hope he's healthy soon because he's fun to watch. But you put him and Thomas Davis and that young man who's coming into his own, that's the finest trio you're going to have in the NFL.
And you notice what they've been doing with Shaq Thompson. There's Luke Kuechly, and number one, take care of your health, young man. That's the number one thing, my wish for you this holiday season. But you notice with Shaq Thompson now, passing situations, they like to move him into the middle for better pass coverage from their linebackers.
The big guys up here, Charles.
I'm not sure if a timeout was called, a false start, it looks like, as the play clock was down to 1.
It's a different look. They had Coney, Ely, and Addison, 94 and 97, respectively, lined up as linebackers.
Offense number 51. Snap infraction.
And this created a little bit of
penalty.
confusion
Still third down.
for that man, Alex Mack. Look here, now you got two big defensive linemen lined up as linebackers, giving that double A look and almost get off in a hurry, and that nice recovery by DeMarco just in case. But that's a nice little change of pace by Sean McDermott, the defensive coordinator for the Panthers.
And he's able to do it because Ely and Addison, both of them are comfortable on their feet. Addison's about 260 pounds. Ely, you remember in the Super Bowl, got an interception. Got another one this year against Arizona, so he's used to playing on his feet in certain situations.
Levitri, number 67, is being helped off the field. He's had a nice game for the Falcons up front. Left guard, Demi Levitri.
That's one of those very quiet, under-the-radar trades that Atlanta made right before the start of last year, bringing him in from Tennessee, and he has started every game since.
Yeah, Thomas
Dimitrov, the general manager.
Rock and roll, had it right.
And Ben Garland probably should be in the game right now, number 63. He's a guy who was a defensive tackle at the Air Force Academy that they've moved over to offense, but he has played defense as well this season.
With his own pressure. There it is.
They're down at 6. Boy, and wide open is Julio Jones to the 32, a first down.
There's something about covering dirt. You cannot cover dirt. Leonard Johnson, number 20.
And dirt meaning this stuff, the field.
Yeah. Right. See Leonard Johnson, number 23 on Julio? You cannot let him go and vacate the middle of the field. That's where you're in a zone pressure. If you're picking up, you have to turn and convert your zone defense into a man defense, especially when number 11's out on the field, because number 2, Matt Ryan's looking for 11.
But don't forget, Matt Ryan also used his eyes and head to manipulate Leonard Johnson and move him one way to clear the space in the middle.
Freeman finds a little running room, and he's inside the 30 to the 27. You know, even with the most receiving yards in the league, there have been some not so great moments for Julio Jones. Of the 12 games he's played, he has 7 100-yard games, but sprinkled in there, Charles, 16, 35, a couple of games at 29.
Yeah, when you go 300, as he did against Carolina the first one, you make up for a few of those along the way, don't you? But he is one of those rare receivers that doesn't complain about whether he gets the ball or not each game.
Rolling right is Ryan, and he'll run it for a first down to the 20. And let's go back to Los Angeles to Carissa Thompson.
Next time we go back to Chicago, Redskins were up 24-14 inside the red zone. Kirk Cousins keeps it himself. His second rushing touchdown of the day. They lead 31-14 with about 3 minutes left in the third. Tom?
Thanks, Carissa. Washington missing a big-time chance against these Panthers on Monday night.
No doubt about it. Had the game at home, everything to play for. The Panthers came out and outplayed them in that one, and that was a little surprising. And we got a flag. And this is going to be post-play, I think, because back behind the play towards the middle of the field, away from where Matt Ryan was tackled.
Yeah, it's Addison, number 97.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Defense number 97. After this is the goal, automatic first down.
It's all about being disciplined. When you're getting handled right here, you got to hold your composure. Football's a humbling game. There's many times where I got my rear end kicked, and I don't need to do that. You won that battle. I'll be coming back at you in another play. But right there, you have to hold your composure. Just because you got your rear end handled, everybody gets their rear end handled. Don't jeopardize your team and make a mental mistake on top of that.
Composure, keeping your poise.
It happens.
22 to the 11 as he tried to slam down Tia LaVea.
I got driven off the ball so far, Tom, I need a cab fare to get back to the huddle.
That didn't happen.
As long as it didn't happen against Michigan. And that's a gain of a yard for Devontae Freeman.
I remember House Ballard, fine offensive tackle for
Howard
the Bills.
House Ballard.
Seahawks.
He took me so far down the field, sir. I couldn't even believe it. Like, the only thing I think of the rest of the game, man, that's going to look bad in the film. I'm going to have to pay a fine for getting to run the ball that bad.
I'll bet you were thinking it while it was happening, too.
I was just hoping he wouldn't dump me on my rear end because he could have. I was a rag doll. I had nothing.
Well, he was a big old man, wasn't he?
Good player.
We might get a timeout here. You got the coach all the way down there talking to the official at the top of the screen.
It's the second time in this half, so 1 left in this 20-6 Atlanta lead. And now, fellas, as we're under 5 minutes to go in the third, obviously we're a long way, 2 touchdowns away from this one being over. But, you know, you got to go back to Mike Smith being the head coach. That was the year they reached the NFC Championship game. The last time these Atlanta Falcons won an NFC South. A heartbreaking loss that was against the 49ers.
It was. It was 2012. They were 13-3, won the South, Chris, got to the title game against San Francisco. Remember, everyone was upset about the Julio Jones move, moving up from 26 to 6 to pick him up. Well, they came within 10 yards of a Super Bowl. They're trying to pay it off now with Julio Jones. That's a big-time addition.
Well, to me, and this is not only our opinion, but also the Panthers' opinion, that Matt Ryan is playing as well as he's played any time in his career. And the thing he's doing most, and you mentioned it, Julio doesn't complain about the ball because they know that Matt Ryan's going to throw to the open guy. He's not going to throw to make people happy. He's going to throw that will help this offense perform at its highest level.
Remember earlier this year in Detroit, there was all that discussion about Matthew Stafford and the year he's having, that maybe not having to look for Calvin Johnson as much, it freed him up to go where the reads were. Well, they've never had that issue about Julio Jones here. Never had that issue where Matt Ryan felt like he had to force it to him.
Right.
And Julio Jones makes it work well. Like Calvin Johnson, didn't complain about whether he had the ball or not.
Keep your eye on Freeman. Very good down here in this situation.
Second down and 8.
Nice.
And they look to the corner. It's incomplete. You know, it's interesting to note, you're going to read a lot more about the evolving situation with A.J. Green. I guess the Bengals have made the decision that he will not play tonight. But the 2 best players in the league are 2 of the most unselfish players in the league. And oftentimes we think about divas.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Neither one of them are. And Chris, look at that. Look at Devontae Freeman pass protecting there against Thomas Davis.
That's unselfish right there, Tom. And I agree with you with A.J. Green, Julio Jones. All those guys that put team above self usually get rewarded.
That is a loose ball and covered up on the 10-yard line. Looked like Ely was the one who knocked it loose, and Freeman covers it up.
This looks like the Coney Ely we saw in the Super Bowl against Denver. Watch him come from, I think, the backside here. He's way out there in that wide 9 technique. All the way out, beats Jake Matthews upfield shoulder and gets to Matt Ryan and pops the ball free. And alertly, Devontae Freeman jumps on it. That was a loose ball. That was not a forward pass. That was a fumble. And Devontae Freeman, fortunately for Atlanta, able to get it and keep a field goal attempt alive.
Tom mentioned it. When things are going well to recover a fumble like that.
2 of 3 today for Bryant. 1 kick blocked, and this one is good. So 3 more points, and closer to a chance to win the NFC South for the Falcons.
Well, one thing you don't want is Matt Ryan to get hurt. You can see his arm was in a very vulnerable position, and he was holding his elbow a little bit, but that's good news when he's sitting down with his Microsoft tablet Surface or going over plays to get it going.
Boy.
Or Surface tablet, either.
He's on the roll, right?
All about just let him go.
And this is Fozzie Whitaker all the way up to the 44-yard line. Well, next Sunday she's inappropriate, but she's in charge. TV's most outrageous new comedy is coming to Fox. Caitlin Olsen is their guardian, and she's no angel. The Mick premieres next Sunday after football on Fox.
I had no idea that's who you hired, Tom, to watch your kids.
She's home right now.
I had no idea. Tell you, it's the way you roll.
It's really a little hard to have that swimming pool open up in Ohio this time of year.
Hey, at your place, you'd have a nice indoor one.
Oh, yeah. All right, now Newton and the Panthers have a lot of work to do. He just missed a wide open Stewart. And let's check in with Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Tom. Well, Tennessee is very much alive in the AFC South, so this is not what they want to see. Their quarterback, Marcus Mariota, getting carted off after what appears to be an apparent right ankle injury. Matt Castle replaces him under center. They're trailing 25-10 against Jacksonville right now. Tom?
Well, Charles, you got to be very close with Marcus Mariota all your years covering college football, and I know you think the world of that young man.
I certainly do. I think he's one of the best talents we have, but also one of the better people we have in this league.
1 yard gain on a completion to Stewart.
Chris, you've played in a lot of games like this. All right, I'm going to put you on Atlanta's defense right now. Do you just feel at this point every single snap is an opportunity to make a big play? It seems to me that's where Atlanta is right now on their defense. They're quicker to the ball on every snap.
Well, for two reasons. One, you've got a quarterback that struggled and missed open wide receivers, already thrown 2 picks. So on defense, you're thinking you're next. I'm getting a pick. The pass rushers are thinking money by sacks. Can I meet my incentives and get to the quarterback? That's in the back of their mind. The other thing is nothing big over the top. Play good, solid fundamentals.
Now that's a Cam Newton-like throw right there.
Good catch, too, by Ted Ginn.
Nice coverage by Alford. Good play all the way around. Solid football. Alford tries to get physical with Ted Ginn, but you do have to respect that speed and nice outcut coming back to the football and holding on after contact.
But he really didn't. He was up there in press position, never put a hand on him and let Ginn get into his route.
That's why if you miss Ted Ginn, he's dancing in the end zone.
Which is exactly why he probably didn't go for that shot, right? This is where if you just want to pick up the first down here, you don't do anything but sneak it.
And that's what they do, and they didn't need much, and he got it. Well, so the 2-minute mark here in the third quarter, keeping hopes alive.
At 6'5", 250, 245, whatever Cam is. He's got this big body. Norwell doubling down with Larson in center, being able to create enough space, and their pad level is good, and Cam just uses his big frame to punch it over the marker.
You know, we always talk about, when a ball's picked up in the open field and it's a lineman with it, big man with football. No. Number one with football is big man with football. Yeah. Okay? That's what you're talking about.
Newton was coming off one of his best performances of the season in the win over Washington. Today, so far, has been one of his worst. Stewart carries inside the 40, down to the 37-yard line, and we go downstairs to Peter Schrager.
Couple injury updates for you guys. Devin Funchess, he probably won't return. He left with the knee injury. You saw him getting carted off. Andy Levitre on the Atlanta side. It's a hip injury. He is questionable to return.
So that means Ben Garland will stay up, number 63. And they put him through. Atlanta uses a thing called Plan D, where they really tried to develop guys in pregame with a practice session, practice squad, the whole deal. And he was the guy they developed last year on what they called Plan D.
Snap bubbled, and now Jones coming after Newton, and he just gets rid of him.
I think this is a microcosm of Cam's year. Now let's see where the snap is. First of all, the snap is where it's off target, but he's got to be able to catch it. And we talk about the one thing he had last year was consistency. I think the one thing you can put on Cam Newton this year is inconsistency. And that's just it. And this team can't get back to where it was.
And
any team.
Downfield. Offense number 74. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
It's just not the Panthers. It's any team. If you have a quarterback that is on a roller coaster, you're not going to win. That's just the way it is. That's the rule in the National Football League.
That's why at the end of the day, fellas, they can talk about this guy or that guy. At the end of the day, that guy that wears number 12 up in New England, all day, every day.
Consistency.
Well, consistency.
No doubt about it.
There's no doubt about consistency with spectacular plays.
Off his back foot. I mean, that had no chance from the beginning. Don't know if there was a misread between he and Olsen there, but that's now third down coming up.
Yeah, he expected something different from Greg Olsen on that play. So you mentioned consistency, Chris. How about consistency here in terms of understand what each is going to do? He expected him to go deep, but Olsen is going to say, did you see Ricardo Allen right there? 37? If I turn that upfield, I run right into coverage. So neither one of them in sync.
Well, that's part of the consistency thing about everybody seeing the same thing, especially quarterbacks and intended receivers.
9 of 27 for 77 yards is Newton today. And that one to Ted Ginn Jr., a first down to the 27.
Tremendous job by the offensive line picking up stunts. Tremendous. They built a wall, communicated well, moved their feet, and created a nice little area for Cam Newton to throw. Just the whole offensive line. Watch the X Games. See the guys coming in and out of each other. Everybody's communicating, passing off blocks, allows him to set his feet and be able to deliver a good pass.
The X Games, one rusher in front of the other.
Well, they get off one more play before the end of the quarter, looking for the home run ball. It is a touchdown for Benjamin. That is a beautifully thrown ball by Newton.
And this is a big receiver being a big receiver and winning at the end.
Watch a little push right here at the end, Charles. Right there. You see that little right hand push?
Created separation. Beautiful. They've been well done, but look at the catch. See that? Look at the hands. Look at the strength there by Kelvin Benjamin. When you have receivers of that size and that catch radius, that's what they have to do. They have to win at the end of those routes and take the ball away from defenders, as Benjamin just did. That was impressive.
All right, so Carolina back in this thing very much. They get a point after here. Is Cam going to give an early Christmas present to that little boy? Point after is good, and don't look now, but with one full quarter to go, it's a 10-point game. End of the third quarter, 23-13. Fox NFL Sunday continues in a moment. Merry Christmas. Carolina getting 10 in the third quarter to draw within 10. Key play on that drive on a 3rd and 8, the 17-yard pitch and catch from Newton to Ted Ginn Jr.
That's a heck of a catch by Ted Ginn Jr. On the sideline, hands, really nice play.
And you know, 2 great throws, which you get with Cam Newton when if he gets hot. 2 great throws to Ginn Jr. on the sidelines, and of course Benjamin for 6.
Weems will let this one go through the back of the end zone, and now comes Matt Ryan, who's very much in the thick, Charles, of this MVP discussion.
Well, Matthew Stafford's had a great year with no running game. Matt Ryan, just a career year in my opinion. Tom Brady's Tom Brady. You might as well put him up there brilliant. And I put David Johnson in there just because of those yards, receiving yards, and what a threat. And of course, you can add Ezekiel Elliott, the leading rusher in the National Football player, and a host of other guys. I mean, this is a great debate topic because I don't think there's a runaway guy this year. I really don't.
Interesting. You know, Stafford's on there. I think many people are talking about him as an MVP candidate. Did not even make the Pro Bowl because of how tough a year it is for him. But he's had a heck of a season for Detroit.
Of course, he'll play the last 2 weeks injured. That one floats up there and beautifully defended that time by James Bradberry, closing quickly to knock it away from Jones.
You said it, Tom. To me, the #1 attribute for a corner is to be able to close right here. Julio has separation. The ball's hung out a little bit, but what's he do well here, Charles?
Closes and plays right through the arms of the receiver. He's behind, so he doesn't try and find the ball. He waits for the ball to get to the receiver, sees the arms come up, and plays through that. Remember earlier in the game when you were talking about his lack of effort?
Yeah.
There's no lack of effort there.
No.
This is a huge series for both of these teams, especially Carolina. They can stop them here. They've got some momentum going in this game.
Well, one area they have in common this year, neither one of these teams has been a good fourth quarter team. In fact, they've been downright bad, and that'll be a sack. Again by Mario Addison. He leads a team in sacks with 9 of them.
Mario Addison is going to run right here inside. There's that little pinch move right there, and Coleman, probably not as good a protector as Freeman, is late to the party, and Addison's able to get the touch sack.
Coleman was looking left on the protection. Addison made such a quick move inside, he realized late he had to get there, couldn't get there. Second time we've seen that move from Addison in this game for a good result.
I think Atlanta's going to get flagged here.
Yeah, 12-minute huddle.
12 men in the huddle. Offense.
Yeah, what, fellas, we got a long way to go here. All of a sudden, you're looking at a 3rd and forever after the penalty. Carolina gets it right back. Look out.
if I'm Atlanta, you're losing momentum. I do, and I hate even saying this, and I want to punch myself in the temple, but I hate the fact that you got to play safe. Protect the football. Have your kicker kick you out of trouble, and you line up and play defense.
But don't forget, earlier in the game, in a similar situation, Matt Bosher shanked it, and they ended up getting a field goal after that. So if you're Carolina, you want that in his head in case he has to go back there and punt it again.
Third down and 21. They need to get to the 35-yard line. And you got to be kidding me. There is nobody in the same zip code as Tevin Coleman. And they convert on third down and 21.
Well, they run off the corner. Bradbury's going to get run off right here. He's going to get run off, and they vacate this area. Thomas Davis doesn't come and get separation or spread the field with Coleman leaking out. It's all about clearing the corner. It's a well-executed play.
And look at Matt Ryan in the pocket. Look at that little subtle move just to escape the pass rusher, and then found his outlet on the sideline for a huge first down.
A huge first down is right. You can feel the air just sucked out of this building. And now Coleman inside the 30, and he will take it the distance for a touchdown. What a difference one single play can make. A 55-yard touchdown run, a season best for Coleman.
DeMarco with the key block, and you think you missed Luke Kuechly? Watch DeMarco, number 42, come out and get A.J. Klein. Watch him seal and flip his hips right here. See the hip? Now watch. Keep going, guys.
Watch him turn.
Turn him right there. Cuts him off, and this is atrocious. We got guys playing two-hand touch. When you're fighting for your team, lay out and make the tackle. And do what you have to do to get him on the ground.
This is really unusual for Trey Boston, to me, because Trey Boston, from the time he was in college, tackling, hitting was never an issue. And here, nothing.
Bradbury, too.
Surprise. Bradbury a second time. That's a major surprise for me with Trey Boston in that situation.
Boy, think where we were about 60 seconds ago. A third down and 21. You're thinking Carolina's going to get it back. They get the 31-yard pass play, and the very next play, a 55-yard touchdown run by Coleman. Falcons flying high.
Sponsored by Burger King. Now you can get 2 delicious Whopper meals for just $10 only at Burger King.
You know, this Falcons offense has been loaded with big plays all year long, but it's interesting to note that that touchdown run by Coleman, their first rushing touchdown at 50 yards or longer, going all the way back to Antone Smith. Remember those few plays he had over the course of that year in 2013?
Yes. He would jump out there and make a play, and you remember he was the compliment to Michael Turner.
But the third and 21. And wide open was Coleman.
Well, so much for being safe there. They thought they were trying to make a safe play and turn into a big one. Chris, anything?
Well, I just, you have to, every time, you can't take anything for granted. You know, he's running for carries, he's running for playing time. And when I have a defense and guys that normally don't do this, but they play two-hand touch and not get him on the ground. And as a defensive player, you have to be desperate to get a man on the ground. In order to get a man on the ground, you got to grab cloth, fight, bite, crawl, run through guys, and not just tap them off. And that's what they did. And I'm not used to seeing that from a professional football player.
Charles, you're standing next to Chris, and I think you're trying to set this guy up for a jump out of the boot.
I mean, I know him well enough from having been with him all season. And I think the thing that you have to go back to is what he said right in the beginning. Not normal for these guys. The guys that he saw make that play or not make that play, it's not normal for them. I think that's why it surprises you even more.
Greg Olsen, who's made NFL history here today. First tight end ever with 3 straight 1,000-yard receiving seasons.
Tampa's going to be, or excuse me, I was going to say Tampa 2 is what they're playing. So this route by the Panthers is going to be open all day because Dion is getting out of there.
It should have been a completed pass with a more accurate throw to Benjamin. Second down.
So you're seeing the Dan Quinn called defense here, and we talked about Tampa 2, and I want to explain what that is. That allows your safeties to play out to the hash marks to help on deep routes down the field. And when you have a guy that can run like Deion Jones, he essentially, on a snap, becomes a free safety. On the snap, he's responsible for the deep middle part of the field.
Running the pipe, as they like to say.
Beautiful play right there made by Robert Alford. Boy, that guy's some kind of athlete. He might have his ups and downs over the course of the year, but he is a great athlete.
Alford working on, again, you're right, Tom, and again, closing speed. And I love the discipline of not hooking with the right arm and then getting that long left arm around to bat it away. That's understanding and being disciplined in your technique and coverage.
And that's something they've been working on with him, because he had 12 penalties in 2014, guys. So they talked about him being too handsy at times. He's worked on it very, very well, and that was an example there.
Put it down at 10, and Newton is able to escape trouble, and he'll run it. And he is run out of bounds at the 48-yard line, all the way near his own bench. 4th and 2.
Well, how angry is Philip Wheeler? How many times do you get a chance to get a sack on Cam Newton, but that big, strong body takes off? But he's not going to outrun Deion Jones, is he, Charles?
No, Deion Jones is listed 222 pounds. He may be 215 at time. He can flat out fly. He came out of LSU playing behind Quan Alexander, who's in Tampa, another undersized inside linebacker who can run. And look, Deion Jones is out here in coverage with Mike Tolbert to take him out of the formation.
So a 4th down and 2. They're 2 out of 2 on 4th down, making 3 out of 3. Benjamin just shoves aside the defender and then runs him over out of bounds.
And this is what you want. This is what you're looking for. You want your big, strong receiver to play big and strong. And we saw Julio Jones with a straight arm earlier. How about that one on Jalen Collins? Shrugs off the tackle by Deion Jones. This is Kelvin Benjamin at his best, and I don't think there's any lack of frustration here. Remember, he's gone 12 straight games, less than 90 yards receiving in each game.
Corey Brown inside the 20, down to the 17.
They've got to move, because even though it seems like a lot of time, they've got a good tempo going now, so they've increased the pace. They're playing a little more up-tempo now because they have the momentum going their way. And Joe Webb's on the field now. Remember, they lost a receiver earlier in the ball game, Devin Funchess. Webb is a jack of all trades. He's coming in to play some receiver now.
Yeah, he's their number 3 quarterback. So 11 minutes, less than that now and counting. Pump fake one way, come right back down the middle and knocked down by Neal.
A young guy making a veteran play hit Neal. Cam tried to use his eyes, and you mentioned it, Tom, the pump fake, but Neal had nothing to do with it. Understanding his responsibility, not anybody else's responsibility, doing his job. Watch Neal right here is going to work to the middle of the field, and watch him stay disciplined. He will not jump on that pump fake, and was right there in perfect position to knock away the pass or the skinny post to Joe Webb.
Yeah, because they used Corey Brown as the decoy, swung him out to the side. And that's where they tried to take him. And Joe Webb, who ran that route, and he was the intended receiver, took a hit, and now is going to go to the bench for a breather.
Tell you what, Joe Webb's made a nice little career for himself, hasn't he?
He made more than a nice little career. Guy was a quarterback at UAB.
Yep.
They moved him to receiver for a while there. Then they had to move him back to quarterback because no one else could do it like he could. If you go back and check his numbers in college, they're astonishing. I mean, what he did at UAB was incredible. Then actually replaced Brett Favre after he got hurt in Minnesota for a game or two, and then ended up after that becoming a special team stalwart here in Carolina.
Vic Beasley's in for the first time this series, number 44, so he's bringing fresh legs to the party.
2nd down and 10, and Newton on the quarterback designed run play down to the 13, wrapped up by Jones.
That great call, tremendous call, and this is the 3rd call run from Cam Newton. How you know it's a run? Tolbert's going to release up inside. That's telling me run. And Deion Jones, beautiful job of using your hands, not giving 1-for-1, and making a tremendous open field tackle on a hard man to tackle in the open field.
And when you say giving 1-for-1, give yourself up to the defender. And now neither one of you, now you take yourself out of the play.
Too many times we see linebackers taking on blocks and forcing the ball to where it's supposed to go. Deion Jones is good enough to defeat the block and make the play. That's why he's an NFL middle linebacker.
They drop down to 4. They need to get it off. A lot of confusion. They just do get it off. And an eye on Webb, who came back into the game. Collins, who was stiff-armed a moment ago by Benjamin, able to break it up.
Well, here's the thing, okay? You're throwing the ball in crucial situations to Joe Webb. Okay, in this spot.
Great point.
Where's Kelvin Benjamin, right? Greg Olsen, even Ted Ginn. Joe Webb's coming off the bench, and they've called plays for him the last 2 times. So it's a little bit of a surprise to me that he would be the primary in a situation like this.
Well, they're going to go ahead and kick the field goal to make it exactly a 2-touchdown game with under 10 minutes to go, and it is good. 31 yards by Graham Gano. Well, a big congratulations to Nora Thornberry, her husband, our stats guru, Jason Thornberry. He's not with us this week. They just had their second child Tuesday morning in Seattle. Charles Patrick Thornberry, a miracle indeed. Congratulations.
And Chris and I would like to thank them both for naming the child after us, because
Yes.
Chris's given first name is Charles as well.
There you go.
We appreciate that, Jason and Nora, that you think so much of us to name your next child after us. I appreciate it.
I think
He's been talking a lot about that this year.
I think the only thing Jason loves more than steak is his wife and children. That man will enjoy his steak now. Anybody that gives me a scouting report every Saturday morning after Friday night,
What child will be like
on the
Bam
steak.
Bam, Flintstones. It'll be Justin Hardy at the 10-yard line. He's dropped to the 20. And let's go downstairs to Peter Schrager.
Well, Tom, it's the holiday season. We're all about giving gifts. How about this? At the Panthers facility on Thursday, 53 packages showed up. Gifts from Josh Norman, the old cornerback. Gave out bathrobes to all his teammates and certain staff members. Had a picture of himself on the card. Josh Norman, happy holidays. There you go, guys.
How about that?
Pretty good sense of humor.
I love
That's
it.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Peter, did you say certain staff members?
Just leave it at that. Certain staff members got gifts from Josh Norman this year.
Well, there's some big games going on around the NFL, coming down to critical junctures, and not only the games today, but the seasons of so many thinking about the postseason. It's a 14-point game with 9.5 to go here. Atlanta needing a win, coupled with a Tampa Bay loss later today, a game on Fox, part of our doubleheader, as Tampa Bay will play in New Orleans. The Cleveland Browns are 5 minutes and 24 seconds away with a 3-point lead over San Diego.
And you're putting a whammy on them.
They're going to get it done.
Nicely done. Tom drops the elbow.
Bam.
This guy's played a heck of a game over here.
Patrick DeMarco.
Yes, he has.
And again,
Just adds to it.
and again,
Just on the last play on a toss sweep, he knocked down the great Thomas Davis, who's a tremendous linebacker. But he goes in not with the idea of destroying people and being a meathead, just to use his body position. That's a disciplined football player, and understanding leverage in how to position your body and understanding where the back is reading so he can get his rear end between the defender and the hole so the back has a clear path.
Did you just use the term meathead?
Well, I am one, so I know.
I've not heard that since All in the Family. And there's a catch by Sanu. And depending on the spot of the ball, it looks like he's just short of a first down.
Yeah, we meatheads stick together.
you went all Archie.
I did.
If you tell us to stifle, it's over.
Yeah. Well, of course you could top that. There's nobody like Charles Davis.
There's no doubt about it. That's the last television show I watched. That's the only thing.
Well, here you go, guys. Look at this. 3rd and short. This is the type of thing that they could actually take something if they want to. Let's see if they decide to let Matt Ryan handle it.
They'll give it to Freeman. He'll pick up the first down and then some. Boy, this is some kind of dynamic Atlanta offense. the #1 scoring offense in the NFL.
Well, we circled these guys last week, the Falcon 5. I just named them that because they sustained blocks. And look like Tololo right there, moving down Addison inside, creating a short corner for Devontae Freeman.
And look downfield, Sanu number 12. Look at Julio Jones number 11. This is a proud Carolina defense. And Atlanta right now appears to me to be really working their 4-minute offense. Trying to eat up clock, take the ball downfield, and keep it away from Carolina.
Over 400 yards of offense so far in this one for the Falcons, after they went for over 500 against Carolina the first time.
Holding. Offense number 65. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Let's go to Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Tom. A little AFC update for you. How about this game? 28-24, under 90 seconds left in the game. Bills trying to keep their playoff hopes alive. Tyrod Taylor to Charles Clay, his second of the day. Bills lead 31-28 with 1:20 left. Tom?
Carissa, how about that? Did you notice at the end when they jumped on Rex Ryan? He really didn't want the guy jumping on him. Did you notice that? He knows there's a lot of time left on the clock. He didn't want to get there yet. They've still got to make a defensive stand against Matt Moore and the Dolphins.
But how much time is on the clock for Rex Ryan?
Excellent question. He hopes more than 1:20.
Big hit. Leveled by Star Lotulelei on Dante Freeman.
And it's a great hit. And, you know, I know I'm getting very picky
I know
here.
where you're going.
But what do you need?
No wrap up, and you got to take the ball.
You need the football, right? So instead of coming in there and body bumping them down, which looks great, and you get a woofer in the crowd, come in there understanding the situation in the game and tackle the football. I'm sorry, I can't help it. That's technique, and that's understanding the situation and what you need for your team.
Can I have my arm back now?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Look at this. Just check.
I'm going to say if he was going to punch himself in the stomach, and somebody else in here.
He's taking both out.
Oh, man. Nice break.
It's Trey Boston.
That was nice, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Excellent break on the football by Trey Boston. Look, we talked about the missed tackle, but hey, watch the play he makes there. Look at his eyes back to the corner. He sees the route and drives on the football immediately. That's what we call trusting your eyes and going ahead and making the play. No hesitation, right through and knocks the ball out.
The thing I loved about that too, Charles, was you hit with his face. You hit with your eyes. That way you avoid injury to yourself or any possible targeting penalty.
Sky your eyes. Keep them up. Keeps your head up. Keeps it out of play.
5:42 to go. They put it in the hands of Gabriel. And that's really nice pursuit right there by Mario Addison to run him down.
Well, he got on the heels, and he reads too, right? So he's reading Jake Matthews. As soon as Jake Matthews vacates his pass rush, he retraces and gets on the heels. Excellent job of reading and recognizing screen, then also doing your job. Now watch him follow Jake Matthews right here. This is beautiful. Look at Addison. See that? Gets on the heels of Jake Madison, shows great, or Jake Matthews shows great effort, and Addison with the tackle. Good stuff.
This will be just a third punt in this game for Atlanta. I mean, if you're trying to get ready for this Atlanta team, and again, nothing's a done deal.
Right.
They haven't won the division. They haven't nailed down a playoff spot. Obviously, a win today is making another major step in that direction. But, man, if you're having to get ready for Matt Ryan and this Atlanta offense, good luck.
You're up a long time because there's a lot of offense that you're having to deal with.
So
a lot
many
of people
players.
Plays.
I mean, obviously, Matt Ryan, he's been pretty good this year. Santa Claus has delivered him plenty of gifts in this Atlanta offense.
By Samsung Pay. Turn your phone into your wallet.
Well, so many of the Panthers, like many, visiting Levine at Children's Hospital here in Charlotte this week. A visit with patients, holiday party, and, well, you know, we frequently take so much for granted, especially our thoughts and prayers to so many who may be spending these holidays in the hospital.
Yes. We're definitely thinking about all of them.
Ooh. Run the route. Boy, he stopped his feet. You got to go where the ball is thrown to you. He is throwing you open away from a defender. Watch Ginn Jr. stop right here, not on the same page. See him stopping. Cam was throwing him away from Dion Jordan, and where Ted Ginn Jr. just stopped his feet a little bit, and that's not the timing that you need for consistency in a passing offense between quarterback and receiver.
Almost looked like he was trying to reach out and catch it and make that spin move back inside. Like he's anticipating that, but the first thing is got to catch the ball.
We're down the final 5.5 to go, and Olsen spins out of one tackle. He'll be 3 yards shy of a first down. Today's game produced by Mark Titleman, directed by Greg Scopatone. Our Associate Director, Alex Olson. Our Broadcast Associate, Jordan Wolf. Our Technical Producer is Bob Muller. As Whitaker makes a catch, a first down. And a couple of our regular crew members from right here in the Tar Heel State. Dane Crawford and Scott Fields. Like Tom Barbary, Scott Snyder, Aaron Blackburn and company up here in the booth.
Great crew. Great crew. Best one in the business. Happy holidays, everyone.
Atlanta's perfectly fine letting them throw the underneath routes. Greg Olsen piling up the yardage.
This is why they're fine. Tick, tick.
Well, gentlemen, like all of us on this crew and the business that we work in, nobody's complaining about it. As it's overthrown, all hoping to get back to our families and wishing both of you a very, very safe trip and a Merry Christmas.
Yeah, same to you and yours, Tom, and everyone on our crew. And look, they're going to try and get to Greg Olsen here as he gets out, unencumbered. But look at Olatoye, number 30, in excellent position.
How about Cam missing Ted Ginn Jr. running right down the field for 6 points because the safety was up and he was long gone by Alford.
His number one guy is Greg Olsen, isn't he?
Yeah.
That's his safety net. That's the guy he trusts the most.
That should have been intercepted. It looked like Benjamin stopped running as well.
Well, you know what happens here, Chris. The wide receivers tell him, don't worry about coming over to our room, okay? Just stay in your room where you are, Jalen Collins, because we would have caught that.
Wow. A good job by Jalen Collins. Again, getting physical at the line of scrimmage after he got stiff-armed by Benjamin earlier, holding his ground, and he's going to be upset that he missed an opportunity because interceptions are not easy to get in this league.
They're not, but I've got to say, guys, Atlanta's defensive backs today, I think they've been magnificent all game long, right from the word go.
That's a 3 for 3 on 4th down, and here's another one. And Newton will not be successful in this try. Sacked back at the 35. Brooks Reed and Courtney Upshaw. And that'll tie a ribbon around this one in Charlotte back in 30 seconds. Final 3:40. Matt Ryan and the Falcons about to pick up their 10th win of the year. Let's go downstairs to Peter Schrager.
Guys, Alex Mack might be the secret to this Falcons' success. The center, he was at Super Bowl week out in Santa Clara this year, and Matt Ryan was too. They were doing the Radio Row stuff. First time they really met. Matt Ryan says, hey, what's up? They exchange numbers. Free agency happens. They bring in Mack. And I spoke with some Atlanta Falcons front office guys before the game, and they said, you know, back in the old days, before the new CBA, you could have some players that maybe you're not sure of on the offensive line. We dedicated ourselves to paying guys like Alex Mack, trading for Andy Levitre, and drafting a guy like Jake Matthews in the first round, and that offensive line is playing well.
You know, the thing, Peter, what Alex Mack brought to this table is the communications. Took that off Matt Ryan's plate. He handles all the line fronts and coverage calls up front.
You see a little action there at the end. You know, there's a little frustration kicking in, and Atlanta going to continue to play hard, and Carolina, they're not going to just back down totally. But one other thing about Alex Mack. Remember, guys, he was in Cleveland for 7 seasons. Won to 3 Pro Bowls there, so he's well respected in the AFC. He comes his first year in the NFC and is going to the Pro Bowl. Remember, the players do the bulk of the voting. So that tells me that in 1 year, he gained the respect of an entire conference with his play. It's not just simply, oh yeah, one team. No, the AFC-NFC thing is real, but there's a divide between the two.
Well, he has been an outstanding player for a long time.
So is that guy, Thomas Davis, who made the tackle. Consistency. When I look at him, I say professional.
A field goal try by Matt Bryant coming up. Arthur Blank, the owner of this Falcons franchise, ready to perhaps celebrate an NFC South title. They'll jump on the plane quickly. Short flight back to Atlanta and probably be able to catch what, Charles, the second half of that Tampa Bay game.
Yeah, but you know the communications they have, they'll be watching it all the way home.
Ryan 3 of 4 today on his way to his first Pro Bowl, and it's his 15th year. 50-yard field goal try, hit from 51, 48, and 29, had one blocked. Say, this guy's going to be a weapon if they get in the playoffs too now. You said it earlier, Charles. He has truly been one of the very best for a long time.
Finally getting that recognition as a Pro Bowler. His first one ever, and look at this. Still has plenty of leg. Remember, he hit a 59-yard earlier this year against Kansas City. Don't worry about him being 41. He can still hit it.
Let's go back to Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Tom. Coming up next, Jameis Winston and the Buccaneers in New Orleans. And even with this Falcons win, the Bucs still alive in the South. This is the second meeting of these two teams in just 13 days. It's Breeze versus Winston, and it's coming up next. Tom?
Well, Carissa, thank you, guys. We did the first meeting between those two teams, and it was really no contest. It was all Tampa Bay. They completely shut down Drew Brees.
Yeah, Drew Brees had 3 interceptions, 0 touchdowns.
For the second game in a row that day. But you know how this league goes. You saw New Orleans last week, didn't you? Drew Brees 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. That's going to be a heck of a game in New Orleans today.
You know, I'm just thinking about Atlanta moving forward, and everything gets broken down. I think one area where they need improvement, and last week we had Atlanta and San Francisco. They almost broke a couple kickoff returns. Today there's been some big kickoff returns. This kickoff coverage team needs to improve in the playoffs because obviously the game is about 3 phases, but that's emphasized even more once you get to the playoffs, and coverage equals field position.
And they're so darn explosive and break from the gate pretty fast. You know, and I talk with my horse racing friends, and I ask them, what does it mean for a horse to get out of the gate fast? What do you call it? They say catch a flyer out of the gate and lead the pack. That's how Atlanta plays. They catch those flyers and make you chase them. If you're going to play them, you want to play that even for a while. Don't let them get that big lead early where you have to come back and reel them in.
All right, what's left on the schedule? And again, if Tampa Bay were to win today, it's going to come down to next weekend. The Falcons will be at home against their longtime rivals, the New Orleans Saints. The Panthers will go to Tampa, Florida to take on the Buccaneers.
And you know, for the longest time, what's the tiebreaker? Most of the time it's head-to-head, right? Well, those two teams split. So they're going to have to go down through the tiebreakers to see where they are. Conference record, divisional record, strength of opponents, all that good stuff. If indeed it stays a tie.
And of course, by Atlanta winning, Tampa Bay has one more loss than these Falcons. So even if Tampa Bay wins today, if Atlanta just goes out and wins its game next weekend, it doesn't make any difference at all what Tampa Bay does. Now, the Bucs can still get in as wild card. Newton is sacked with 1:20 to go.
Courtney Upshaw with another big play.
Sheet Hageman also in on that.
Well, we understand there is big news in Cleveland, Ohio. Let's go to Carissa Thompson.
Yeah, Tom, this one's for you. San Diego down 3, 2 seconds left for the tie. Josh Lambo misses the 45-yard field goal. Cleveland wins. The first time we've said that all year. Merry Christmas, Browns fans. Tom?
you feel better now, Tom?
But no, it is rare that a guy from Cincinnati would root for Cleveland to win in anything. But I would never want to wish that in a million years. And you know the reason why? Rod Marinelli.
Yep.
There is not a finer man in football today who has done more great coaching work than him. And no matter where he goes, he's going to be remembered for that. Hugh Jackson's a good man.
Yep.
Don't want to see the same thing happen to him.
Well, it did not. They hung in there. Give them a ton of credit for hanging in there and battling all the way and finding a way to win today, even with the missed field goal, obviously. But you didn't put the whammy on them. You're off the hook. I was going to be all over you.
They had him all the way.
Had them all the way.
State Farm game break is coming up in a moment. Matt Ryan and the Falcons by tonight could be division champs. We send it to Los Angeles for the State Farm game break show.